Hi, and welcome to Brandon's Face, the podcast about a playlist. I am Brandon with the face.
And I'm Jonathan.
We are just a couple of music nerds who are probably a little bit too passionate about music. Every month, we will be filling a playlist filled with a bunch of new releases, but we'll also be throwing ourselves a couple of curveballs. All of our old playlists you can find archived at the link in the show notes.
Let's get into it.
Fantastic. Let's start with the singles. So looks like one of the first ones that we added to the playlist on the singles that won't end up with an album were some of the End of the World singles that you threw on there. Just a couple of remixes and some other singles.
Yeah. So I found End of the World. They played Secret Sky on, it was a YouTube digital music festival last month, and I'd never heard of them before. Apparently, they're a pop band from Japan, and they've been around, I want to say, for 10 years or so, and have released about 5 albums over there. All of those were not English language. I think around 2019, they decided they wanted to do an English language album, which is where the songs Roller Skates and Gone came from, and the album is titled Chameleon. I listened to the album, and a lot of it's good, but I think like where their music really shines is in being remixed somehow, because they played a DJ set at the festival. So it wasn't a full band. They have a guy named DJ Love who wears a clown mask, which is very interesting.
That's very slick of them.
Yeah, and they're an interesting group, but the newest song from the songs added to the playlist is the Dropout Boulevard Audion remix, which is one of the first ones they played in their set. And this one is like main stage festival ready already. I think that they're a band that not a lot of people might give a chance to, but I think if you see them live or hear them live, I definitely suggest looking up their Secret Sky set if you haven't heard it already. You'll be pretty blown away by them.
Let's go ahead and throw the link to their set. I believe it's still on YouTube in the show notes. That's so funny you said that though. On that Audion remix, my notes say this will be heard at every stage at least once this next EDC. There's no way it's not. It's kind of the perfect.
It's a massive song
for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So Gone made me. Man, that's such a sad song. It's beautiful though. It's haunting. It is. I wrote down a couple of quotes here. Quote: You would have loved this guy last night. Fucking chills, man. Just it was that was neat. Thanks for showing me these guys. I would not have known about them, and I also would never have guessed that they've been around for 10 years.
No, yeah, you would never know. But they're really insane. Like their range is crazy, and you would never guess like such an emotional song like Gone is written in their second language.
Yeah, that's that kind of blows me away, man. I definitely did not expect that. So
very talented.
We suggest everybody check out their Secret Sky festival appearance. All right, let's move on. You also threw some Jai Wolf on there because apparently I'm a pleb. So I wrote down that they've got like these sharp Odessa vibes. I'm sure their live shows are just insane. And I was a big fan of the Petite Biscuit album that came out last year, and they remixed one of those songs. That one was really good.
Driving Through the Night.
That's the one. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that one actually is I think the only new song from this year that I've added to this playlist or that he's released. He might have actually released a demo this past week, but I don't think it's made it on our radar yet.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of discovered him, and the songs I added to this, I think, are the big highlights through his discography that I found. Indian Summer, which I believe has over 100 million plays, which is kind of insane. It's really its own style of music almost. Starlight, which is just a fantastic song. That's like the exact vibe of song I like to listen to while I drive around at night. And then he released a full-length EP a year or two ago called The Cure to Loneliness. I threw a few songs from there on. Yeah. And then last year he released Moonrider, which I think is indicative of where he can go as a singles artist. And I'm really looking forward to seeing, like you said, now that live shows are coming back, his live show has to be insane. And hopefully we can catch it sometime.
Yes, hopefully we can. Yeah, I saw I can't help but when I hear music like this to compare them to Odessa. When I did see Odessa
Totally.
live, that kind of music is perfect for like a large open field, and I could just imagine Jai Wolf just destroying a festival somewhere.
Oh yeah.
And you know, one can only hope for like the Gorge up in Washington, which I've never been to, but have always dreamed of going to a festival at that venue.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. Or Red Rocks, like any scenic venue. I'm sure this music just at especially around sunset, it just hits different.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. You did throw the Alice in Wonderland remix on.
Yeah. So this is Alice in Wonderland and Valentino Khan. It's the Body Ocean remix of their song Anything, which I believe came out sometime last year. Uh, I I became an Alice in Wonderland fan after her last album Awake dropped, and she hadn't really dropped much since then. I think this might be one of her first singles then. She just makes absolute bangers. I'm not really familiar with Body Ocean, but what he did to the song, if you went back and listened to the original, he really beefed it up and made it a lot more R tempo, I'd say. Valentino Khan, I remember him from like the SoundCloud era back when I was illegally downloading songs for my sets, and I used a couple of his. Thank you for that, Valentino.
Yep.
And yeah, this one was actually one my buddy I used to work with back in the desert sent me, and shout out Asai. Thank you for the recommendation.
Nice. Yeah. So this beat is infectious. You're right. I did go back and listen to the original just to kind of check it out. And
Mhm.
yeah, I imagine this being played at like a dark dance floor, like Bang Bang in San Diego, something that's like dark and small and
Oh,
just
perfect.
sweaty, Like this is kind of
Yeah.
perfect for that. Valentino Khan, man, I've seen that name on so many festival lineups, and obviously they make pretty decent tracks as well, but I've never seen them live, so probably won't. Unless they end up at a festival or something that I happen to be at.
Also, if there's any artist listening to this and it's a DJ or producer group and it's one person and we say they, or it's two people and we say he, it's because we just have no idea yet and we're ignorant.
Exactly.
Forgive us.
Exactly. Yes.
It's very confusing.
I mean, you would think that Valentino Khan would be a singular dude, but you never know nowadays, man.
Mhm.
All right, moving on. Looks like Toby. I'm not even going to begin to
Toby
try to
and Nwigwe,
in
Caged
Weekway.
Birds, featuring Linnell Grant. So Toby and Nwigwe, he put out an album very late last year. I want to say December, called Sync Originals, and it made my album of the year list, but it was kind of hard to process it all so fast. I
Yeah.
would definitely recommend that to you if you hadn't heard it. He's an artist that I feel like you don't respect until you see the visuals tied to his music. Let's throw some links in the show notes of. I want to throw definitely his live performance of Eat. That's what made me a fan, and I think what once you see what he conveys live, you'll kind of see it in your mind every time you hear his music. This song is like a father talking to his son about life, and it's kind of that lens and structure of song. It's not really his best, but I think he's such a talented artist that I kind of just want to keep showing him love whenever he releases something new.
So I have not listened to that record that you referenced. I think it's wait, actually I did the Sync Originals. I did listen to that.
Mhm.
You did send it to me last year when
It
we were
might have
talking about
been
it.
right when we started Brandon's
It was
Face,
right when we started Brandon's Face for
late
sure.
last
I do
year.
remember it now. Looking at the album cover. Yes.
Mhm.
Let's throw some of that stuff into the show notes because look when the song started and I'm now I feel like an idiot. I didn't recognize this dude's name. So at the start of this track, I didn't think that I was gonna like it, but this flow is unstoppable, man.
Yeah.
Both verses are kind of like a coffee shop poem reading
Mm-hmm.
flow, you know. But
Very
I
good.
fucking
Yeah.
loved this beat. It all worked together. Not something I would typically listen to, which I think is what I said when you had sent me his album last year, and and I think I'm going to be coming back to this one, man. This was good. It was refreshing.
For sure.
And I love being refreshed by the same old shit that we hear all the time, you know. And this is definitely not the same old shit. So
Yeah, definitely.
so let's see here. Next on the list, I think, is Health and Nine Inch Nails. Isn't Everyone?
Yeah.
Can we just for a second? Praise Trent's vocals on this? I had never heard of Health. Health is in all caps here prior to the song, but I'm going to go on a deep
Neither have
dive.
I.
It's on. They are on my Listen to Next playlist, which I have not cleaned up in a long time. But Nine Inch Nails last year released some ambient albums, which was interesting. I'm not sure if you gave them a listen, but they were. When I heard that Nine Inch Nails dropped 2 albums on the same day, I was like, "Oh man, let's get heavy," and it was not that. But
No.
I'm glad that this is kind of like a return to form for Nine Inch Nails, and I enjoyed the ambient albums, but they just aren't my everyday kind of thing. That's a very specific kind of mood, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, this one took me by surprise because you don't really see a lot of Nine Inch Nails collaborations per se. You see a lot of Trent Reznor collaborations, and
Right.
whether I don't know if every member of the band was involved in this or what Health usually sounds like. Maybe I should have done my homework on that a little bit before this. But this has that like late 90s early 2000s Nine Inch Nails grunge twist to it. You know, it's got the low
Absolutely.
warbling bass and the distortion over the guitars. He's got one of the most iconic voices in rock over the past 3 decades, and he really hasn't lost a step when he's on the right track like this. I think it's great. I hope more Nine Inch Nails music sounds like this going forward.
I absolutely agree because those ambient albums, again, while they were good, they just didn't do it for me. And this was exactly what I was hoping for when I saw Nine Inch Nails show up on this playlist. I
Totally.
do want to shout out this real quick quote from this song. "We get the world we all deserve." That is a fantastic line in this song.
Great line.
Alrighty, let's see here. Boys Noise, All I Want,
Wait,
featuring Jake
are
Shears.
did we pass Flight Facilities, Lights Up?
Well, we did, but I thought we may have that may be leading to an album, according to the intro
I
from Channel
think that you're
Trace.
being optimistic. I don't know about that.
All
But
right,
we will touch on no, we'll touch on it later. We will touch on
I
I just don't want to skip it entirely.
Oh,
but we will touch on it
we
later.
will definitely not skip that song.
Okay.
It's definitely up there as one of my favorites on the playlist this month, actually.
Definitely. Okay.
So Boys
Proceed.
Noise, All I Want, featuring Jake Shears. Holy shit! Thank you. Welcome back, Boys Noise.
Yes.
It's gonna be a Boys Noise summer. I'm fucking here for it, man. I really like this track, but since I've heard the Purple Disco Machine remix, I can't really go back to the original.
I agree. I agree. That's in my notes as well. This is a fun one. He's been one of our favorite artists, and I literally mean yours and my favorite artist for
Right.
the last 10 years. We've seen him countless times. It's usually being hyperbolic when you say, "Oh, that's my favorite artist," because it's like your favorite artist for the moment. He was legitimately my favorite artist, and probably yours for about 5 years there.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. You can't not headbang for 2 straight hours at the Mayan when you see him.
Oh my
you
God,
know?
no. He's incredible. His last few releases have been good, but they've also been like very raw. He's going like the Strictly series, and I don't mind those, but like I also do like when he's kind of in singles mode and he's dropping these little one-offs, or when he's in album mode as well.
Yeah.
This one I've had on repeat, like you said, until you were smart enough to buy the vinyl, so you had the Purple Disco Machine remix before it dropped on streaming services this past Friday, the 27th, and I think, yeah, like you said, once you hear that remix, you really can't go back. It's so good.
It just takes the song, which is already so good, and just amplifies it up to this disco kind of just this, that bass line just hits me, man.
Yeah.
Right. Kenny Hoopla, whom I had never heard of, featuring Travis Barker. Can you please move your Prius? Oh man, that line got me so hard. The song is good, and I'm glad to see that it was really just that Atreyu song that Travis featured on that didn't really feature Travis drumming. I'm glad to see that Travis actually does drum on all the songs, and it was just probably Atreyu's agents that were like, make it simple. So I don't know if you have anything else to add to this, but
I do.
I love it.
So I actually added this more for Kenny than for Travis, not in the sense that Travis is bad. He's actually really good on it. But he's been on my radar for a while. So he's one of the only guys from this like new school emo pop punk group that I actually like. I discovered him last year during the pandemic. He has a video, like a live video for a song called How Can I Rest in Peace If I'm Buried by a Highway?
Awesome.
And it's like his voice is so like it'll just fucking take you and grab you the second you hear it. Like it's so raw, and it's really fun punk rock. And I really wasn't expecting it. And so after that came out, he released an EP, I think, and that was still kind of the standout song. And then after that, he released another song with Travis Barker called Estella that actually got some radio play up here where I am. And he has this new one, and he has another one called Lost Cause that did pretty well. What I like is that so many of the guys going for the like new emo sound are all doing the same thing, and they're going a little bit rappy. He's trying to make music that would be on a new Tony Hawk soundtrack. Like, right. That's what it sounds like to me.
Oh no, I love that. And my notes say this is Warped Tour 2006 vibes. So
yeah, maybe even 2004. Like this is like Newfound Glory era almost. Definitely put How Can I Rest in Peace If I'm Buried Up by a Highway on your Listen to Next playlist, because that song will keep you a fan for a while. I guarantee it.
Amazing. All right. I definitely will do that right now. And then, all right, I want to hear what your thoughts are on Elohim's Strut.
So this song, it feels like a 2019 Zoo song in the fact that it's very like fashion heavy. Like It's meant to be like Palm Springs Fashion Week. Like they're going to, somebody in Palm Springs Fashion Week will lose their job if they do not use this song this upcoming year. I guarantee it.
That's so funny. I don't know if you follow Elohim on Instagram,
I do not.
But she actually lives in Palm Springs.
So, oh, that's hilarious. I did not know that.
That's funny.
Props.
Yeah.
Props.
So I didn't like this song. I do.
No, the growl gets a little much.
Look, as a standalone track, if nobody told me it was Elohim, I'd be like, oh, this is decent. It'll be. I think it's actually like a TikTok craze now. I don't know what the kids are doing nowadays, but I'm not doing that. But I'm struggling with how Elohim is not putting out the music that I fell in love with. When my wife and I originally discovered her back in 2018 on the way to that Glitch Mob show, it's just, this has basically no emotion to it. It's a decent beat. I didn't really connect to it. I don't like it because it's Elohim, but if somebody else had put it out, I mean, I'm sure it's fine. Like, it's a decent song. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're being generous.
It doesn't. I just didn't like it, man. I just didn't like it.
Well, you will notice I was very subtle. I said it's a 2019 Zoo song, and anybody that knows you and I knows that 2019-2020 Zoo is one of the worst things we've ever heard.
Right. Pretty disappointed. No, I agree with that. That's it's just I was sad, man. I was sad when this. I was actually excited because it's one of those things where you see an artist that pops up on your release radar and you're like, okay, this one's got to be fucking awesome. You click on it and it's just not. And
Yeah.
there's a couple of examples on this month's playlist where that happened to me. So we'll get into that. Sasha, Corner Shop, man, just this dude's a fucking legend. Like,
Yes.
like I mean,
Yeah.
techno knows no bounds. Apparently, I kind of like how this isn't a 4/4, and it just kind of flows the way it's supposed to flow. I don't really know how. Well, I don't even know what I'm really saying, but it just made sense to me, you know?
Yeah, it's a good song. It's very minimal.
Yes.
I think if like minimal techno is your thing, minimal house, then you're gonna love this.
All right. So I threw this Warpaint song on here. I'm a big fan of Warpaint. Apparently, this was made for an HBO Made for Love something or other. I'm a big fan of Warpaint, and this popped up, and I haven't watched any of HBO's Made for Love, so I don't know how this fits into the context of that show / movie, whatever it is. But I really liked the line "Paradise if you can earn it." I can't make out what has gone wrong. This was a good song. I really enjoyed it. It's got this surfer feel.
Yeah, it is a really good song. I agree. Kind of reminded me of like Garbage meets that dry cleaning band that you put on here last month. It was
Yeah.
very reminiscent of like, yeah, mixed with like a very surfer feel instead of like a New York feel.
Yeah, I dig that. Sand, Saand, Mighty View. I just love this style of house and techno. They do a really good job of creating a fun environment, and it's nothing out of this world, but I think the addition of guitars on this track was a lot of fun. So, did you enjoy this one?
Yeah, I thought it was good. It was fun. It was poppy. It almost felt like a Mika instrumental to me.
All right, I like that. I can dig that. All right, so Frankie Rizzardo, I had never heard of. It popped up on my release radar because Kolsch. I'm a huge fan of Kolsch. I have no clue who Frankie Rizzardo is. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to clean up my
I'm sure he's a
listen to
lovely
next.
person.
I'm sure he's a great guy. And so, all right, his DJ sets are fucking amazing. Kolsch, I got the opportunity to see him, I think, in 2018 at Sound Nightclub, and the way he incorporates strings into his DJ sets is just next level. And this song was no exception to it. I loved it. So
Yeah, this was one of my favorites of the month. Probably top 20 if I'm including albums, top 10 if I'm just going singles. I listened to it a lot. I listened to the original, and Kolsch did a really good job remixing it. Gives you like almost euphoric chills if you really like immerse yourself into it with headphones at the right mood, you know?
yeah.
I thought it was great. I'm a big Kolsch fan, and he's definitely on my radar a lot more now that I've
Yes,
heard this.
I would. I actually discovered Kolsch, and I'll throw this in the show notes for anybody who is unfamiliar with him. He did a set for Circle, I believe, back in 2016, maybe even 2015, and he did that set on the top of the Eiffel Tower in Paris, France, which is
fucking awesome.
really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Moving on, Drum Complex and Frank Sonic Elephant Trumpet. My notes just say techno, techno, techno. These guys just beat the fucking 4/4 kick drum into the ground,
Yep.
man. Love that.
It's a very raw modular feel to it.
Yes.
Like a Boys Noise bunker track. It
Yep.
gave me those kind of vibes.
I threw this Brodinski song on here. Brodinski has kind of always perplexed me. I like about 20 to 30% of his tracks. About 20 to 30% of his tracks hit. This is one of them. I love the album art. I don't know if you took a look.
Oh my
at
god,
it.
that's in my notes too.
but this
Fantastic album art.
yeah, this was really the only song on the album that I enjoyed. But it's just they just make weird music, man. I dig it.
It's another very raw track. Super percussive. It's very percussion driven. It's almost trap in the drum style a little bit, and they use kind of ethnic instruments a little bit. I don't even know what I mean by ethnic instruments. They use very obscure instruments for
Yep,
this genre of music, I'll say.
for sure.
And yeah, it works, but I don't know. It's very aggressive. I have to be in the mood for this exact kind of music for sure.
It's funny. This album art just hit with me. So I've been looking at 98 C classes
Okay.
just to buy and have
The
as a fun.
98 C classes to you is my 87 M3.
There you go. There you go. All right. Hot Since 82, Naboo, Star Wars crossed with house music. Yes, please. Um, this
Yeah, this is
is,
awesome.
yeah, this feels like a late 80s house track. This would kill in a Chicago warehouse at like, 8 o'clock in the morning, you
Hmm.
know?
Yep. It's a really fun track. The bass line was insanely catchy.
Yeah.
I like it.
Super catchy. All right, Armin van Buren, Tell Me Why. He just puts out fantastic trance every single chance that he possibly can
Yeah.
get. You turn a corner and it's just, oh, there's another perfect trance track from Armin van Buren. No big deal.
Yeah, he means so much to me because he was the one that brought me into, like, a lot of people kind of got brought into this scene, like through maybe seeing Daft Punk at Coachella or something like that. Seeing him at Together As One when I moved to Southern California in 2008 or 9, I can't remember what, I want to say 2008, New Year's Eve going into 2009. That was like such a pivotal pivotal night in my life. And watching him DJ for 8 hours straight is just mind blowing. And the songs that were kind of his marquee songs back then, In and Out of Love, Going Wrong, even then to his album after that, Mirage, like, it's the same guy. Like, the
Yep.
music he's putting out, if you're a fan of that stuff, you're still gonna be a fan of him. He went a little bit trendy for a while with the blah 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 or whatever that song was.
Yeah.
But get your fucking paycheck, guy. I'm not gonna hate on that. Like,
I mean, after 2 decades of doing the same thing, he's allowed to buy in instead of selling out for a couple of tracks.
yeah, let's look at his Spotify. Top played song, blah blah blah, 329 million plays.
You
Second closest song is This Is What It Feels Like with 211.
Yep.
Like there he I don't hate him for doing it. I'm not a fan of that style of him, and I hope he stays away from it. But this song, and I believe we'll talk about one more of his, like,
Yep.
he's just he's he was the, like, best what DJ and DJ Mag 5 years in a row for a reason, and he proves it with this type of shit.
Yeah, he's the trans goat. There's no issue. There's
Yep.
there's no way around it. I think
Jasper Lynn could never.
I mean
I'm joking. I love
he
it.
he goes above and beyond the Call of Duty when it comes to trance. All right.
Yes.
So I told you that I wanted to chat about Ben Lucas Poison. I really need to hear your thoughts on both of these songs.
So I wasn't really familiar with his work, and when you, like, sent me that these were going to be two of the songs you were, like, wanting to discuss a little bit more in depth, I was like, all right, let me sit with them for a bit.
Yep.
And so I put them on repeat for probably, I don't know, 20 minutes, like, each song for a while. And it's not what I was expecting. So I will say, like, I'll kind of start with the first song, which I believe is a remix.
Yeah, it's a
Neil Cowley,
rework.
Prayer. It's Ben Lucas Boyson remix. So that one, I kind of I listened to it on my computer speakers first, which was a mistake because I was like, man, I don't get it. Like, I'm not getting into it. So then I put my headphones on. I put my AirPods in, and I was like, still not getting it. So I put the Bose headphones on, and I was like, okay. So it feels like a movie score to me, more than like a traditional song, I guess, this one in particular.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, I know where this guy's going. And then I listened to the next song you added, which is Love by Ben Lucas Boyson. And it completely different. There's no percussive elements to it at all, which usually isn't my thing. But, like, it's such an impressive way that he builds songs with these just layered textures and, like, seemingly simple melodies, but it's very complex at the same time.
I'm so glad that you put on the Bose headphones for it. Anybody listening, please put on your best headphones and listen to Love, taken from his album Mirage. I highly recommend that album. I bought it on vinyl because I am a hipster, apparently. So, um, the rework of Prayer popped up on my release radar, and every time I think of Ben Lucas Boyson, I think of the Mirage album that I was introduced with him with. So I started getting really into kind of classically styled, modern, kind of contemporary classical music last year, or maybe even like it was late last year for sure.
Hmm.
Um, and this dude just fucking gets it, man. His piano is just enchanting. The string sections always just blow me away. It's super chilled, organic sounding, almost contemporary classical music because it's not quite classical music, right? But
No.
it's just right there, and I kind of like how he is one step or half a step removed from like a classical composition, and he can kind of he uses that to his advantage by kind of pushing the boundaries a little bit with those crescendos and it's funny. I wrote down here in my notes, if you haven't already listened to this on your best speakers,
Hmm. Yeah.
fall in love with the intricacies that this dude can actually pull off. There's just something special about being enveloped in that bass on Love, and he uses a lot of those sounds on Mirage,
Yeah.
and then slowly kind of just being placed on a cloud once those strings come in. It just I'm pretty sure I cried the first time I heard Love. It was it was like an emotional experience for me, and I found him on a playlist on Spotify, I think, and it wasn't even this song, it was another song, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And I clicked on it and I was just blown away. So when I saw him pop up on the release radar, I was like, you know what? It's kind of a perfect time for me to talk to John about this guy because I wanted you to hear it. So I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was awesome. Thanks.
Cool. The Lastling songs that you added in.
Whew. Okay.
I lied to you. I need to tell you this. I lied to you. You said that, or you asked me if I had ever heard of Lastlings, and I had. I had never really listened to them, and I thought that they had opened up for Bob Moses or something like that. Or no, I said that they were going to open for Elohim at the show that we were going to go see her at last year in
Hmm.
April of 2020. They actually opened up. I actually did see these guys, but I was in line for like drinks and food or something at the time.
Gotcha.
We went and saw Rufus Du Sol and Bob Moses play at the LA Historic State Park, and they opened up for them. Lastlings opened up for both Bob Moses and Rufus. So I had heard this music, and I realized that as soon as I turned on Deja Vu, and I was like, I've heard this song.
Yeah. Well, thanks for lying to me, asshole. So, False Reactions is on a playlist. I think it was on the Low Key Tech playlist that I follow on Spotify, and that song just blew me away. Like I haven't been that taken by like a new song in a while in terms of this genre of music. Like her voice is one element, but the actual music itself is just so perfect the way it comes together. I really can't believe I'm just discovering them. I added, for those who haven't seen yet, I added their remix of SG Lewis's song Flames. I added two songs from their album First Contact, Deja Vu and False Reactions, and I added a Rufus Du Sol remix of their song No Time. Um, that album First Contact. So I kind of I'm so music obsessive that like I have an album of the year, but that's never just enough for me. Like I want an album of the year in every category of music.
Right.
And last year kind of lacked an electronic music album for me. Um, because I think it's because I was so highly anticipating Porter Robinson's album at the time that I was just expecting it to drop and nothing was going to be able to compare to it. But even going back, like, I guess if I didn't know about this Lastlings album, I probably would have said Disclosure's album was Energy. But that one really like didn't emotionally stay with me. I just say by comparison, it was better. In retrospect, this one I'm giving my top electronic album of 2020 for whatever that's worth at this point. I need to see them live someday. They, especially in a headlining setting, I feel like this is like an evolved Gareth Emery almost to me.
Yeah, I really enjoyed False Reactions.
Same.
That was my favorite. It's funny. I just looked through my albums of the year 2020, and there's only two electronic albums on there, and one of them is a band. So I'm not even sure if you can count it. Bob Moses's Desire, and then Caribou's album. Man, now that
Okay, Bob Moses, I guess, would be my
Suddenly.
album for 2020. Prior, I will give it to Lastlings over the Bob Moses. Just it personally sticks with me more, but I'd put Bob Moses over Disclosure for last year.
Yeah, Disclosure. With you, how you
It
gonna
was a
beat?
good album. It was not great.
How you?
They also have the daunting task of always trying to beat Settle, which is going to be a long, long road.
I mean,
Can they like I don't Settle's a perfect album. It's
perfect.
not like whether they ever top it or not is not important because they've already contributed what I would say is a perfect album to music. So
Agreed. No, I absolutely agree with you. Yeah. So Last Things was really great. I don't remember their set because again, when I walked in, it was the girls needed to go to the bathrooms, and then I needed to go get a drink, and there was so much happening that by the time Bob Moses came on, I had completely forgotten what I had heard until I heard Deja Vu, and I was like, oh fuck, I've heard this before.
that's ironic.
Where have I heard this before? And turns out it kind of took me back, and I was like, wait a second. They weren't going to open up for Elohim. They opened up for Bob Moses and Rufus. So they were good. Thanks for showing me them. I had never listened to them really before, and then again that happened. So I'll give First Contact a listen. I will add to my playlist. Listen to next.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little freaked out that their song "Deja Vu" gave you deja vu. That just cannot be glossed over.
I don't know what to say, man. That's
There's
the
some
one that stuck with
subliminal
me.
shit going on in that song that we're not aware of. Some Josie and the Pussycats, "We Are the Music," "Beware the Music" shit.
Oh man, yeah, no, that's
man.
funny. That's funny.
Okay, no more hiding, coward. Tell me what you think of "Star Booty" by Ubiquity.
So I told you I had words. I don't have a lot of words, but I will say my notes say this: we are all star booty. It seems like humans have been worshiping ass for a long time. You just love to see it, man.
Yeah.
So what compelled you to throw this on this playlist? I love that you did.
So this is my curveball of the month by far. I'm sure the last thing you expected me to throw on this playlist was an acid jazz song from the late 70s.
It definitely was the last thing I expected.
You threw mint jams on there last month. I had to top you, man. A coworker actually showed me this song. So I work with one guy that does DJing, and then obviously every human on earth is a fan of music. So we were talking to him. He was organizing a silent disco at a park out here, and we were talking to him about different vibes of different sets, and we were kind of just on that disco, like going with the name silent disco, kind of like that Flight Facilities, like that just like fun SG Lewis kind of plucky fun disco sound.
Love it.
And one of my coworkers, who's one of the most random dudes in the world, he's fucking awesome though, he's like, you gotta play Star Booty. And like all of us kind of look like, the fuck is Star Booty? And he just like puts this fucking like YouTube rip of this song on, and I'm like, hold on, I gotta get this shit on Spotify. And like he's like, it's not on there, and I was like, bullshit. And I type it in, it was recently added because it only had like 16,000 plays when I found it.
Oh,
and
it's amazing.
So yeah, it's a song by Roy Ayers, who is like a really famous jazz musician who had many different projects, and this was just one of the songs he put on, and he like played it for us, and I could not get it out of my head for like 3 days.
It's
I kept
infectious.
listening to it and playing it, and I was like, God damn it, he's right. This is a really good song to play in a set, like outside, like sun's just going down. It's fucking great. I know that we're all vaxxed. Whenever we're in the same geographical location again, we're going to play this at a barbecue, my friend.
Absolutely, we will. Absolutely, we will.
This
Thank
and the
you.
Spotify Yacht Rock playlist will be in full force.
I've actually got a couple of yacht rock playlists that I can send you.
Do you follow the real Yacht Rock playlist?
No, I don't.
Oh my God. Look it up right now.
Yacht
Everyone,
rock.
I'm sorry if this is not good entertainment. He needs to look up Yacht Rock right now. It's a big playlist. I think there's a boat as the artwork.
Yacht rock. Yep.
Yeah, throw that on tonight, bud. You're welcome.
All right. Hey, I like some Kenny Loggins. All right.
Dude,
Oh,
you
man.
put that on after like three 8.2% beers, you're done, my friend.
Amazing. Yeah, I'll definitely be throwing this on probably right after we get off the line here. That's funny. I met a
Your
guy.
wife will love it as well.
I'm sure she will. I met a guy who we got to talking about music, as music nerds do, and he was like, "What do you think of yacht rock?" And I was like, "Fuck me up, man. Let's get it. Let's do it.
Let's
And
fucking do it."
He sent me this playlist. I'll send it over to you. It's great. It's less well known yacht rock, which I like, kind of obscure kind of stuff, which is weird to say about yacht rock. So.
Totally.
All right, so this next one, Fenrir, So It Begins. I accidentally added
Begins is not the word I expected you to struggle with.
So I accidentally added this to the playlist. I left it on because I thought it was decent. It's like post-deathcore.
Yeah,
I'm not
goes
really
hard.
I'm not really sure how to put it in there. I forget how I found it. It might have been on Reddit. It might have been somebody sent it to me or something. No, nobody sent it to me. It must have been somewhere where I found it. But pretty chorus, brutal grouse. Like I think it just kind of worked. It took me a little bit by surprise. What were your thoughts on it?
My notes just say, "Mother of God, this goes fucking hard." I like it.
There you go. All right.
Yeah, I didn't really have a lot to analyze there, but it was good. It was really good.
It definitely is good. All right. The Midnight Neon Medusa. You got some words for me?
Oh man, yeah. So I don't have many notes, but I do have like a lot of thoughts on this one because we've been doing this now for a couple months, this playlist and sharing stuff, and I'm usually not eager like to tell you I've added something. And I remember like hearing this song one day, and I text you immediately, and I was like, Brandon, you gotta listen to this. Like, what the hell just happened? And I wish I had your text pulled up right now because the way you described it in the text is fucking perfect.
If Rez and Justice were driving a Countach in '83, this is exactly what would be playing in that car.
Yes, through a vaporwave sky of lasers. Like, it's so crazy. I love this. I don't know if I can compare it to anything. Back in the scene days, there was like this group of younger kids that came up called Blessed by a Broken Heart, and they were like kind of like an 80s glam metal version of like scene music. And this is what that reminds me of, but of electronic music in a different way.
Okay.
I know it's a really obscure comparison that almost nobody will understand, but I don't know. It's fantastic. We were gonna review this EP. I feel like I need to like kind of break apart their discography before I really like review them as a band. But as a one-off, the song is phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree. I think I want to give them a little bit more attention before I write any of my thoughts down. The chord progressions on this song are they're just amazing, man. I got like a Martin Solveig kind of vibe at times, which I thought was a little weird, but I was kind of here for it. But yeah, man, it was it's special. Let's see, how many monthly listeners do these guys have? All right, almost 1 million. So that's good for them.
They're doing well.
They're doing well. They're doing well. Thanks for showing me them.
They feel like the equivalent of a MySpace Find now.
Right. Like,
how did they go just unnoticed by the almost entire electronic community, which I guess I'm not that deep in anymore, but
have you heard of this band? It's called Suicide Silence. They're all over MySpace.
I have.
Okay,
They're
good.
in my top 8. Thank
Good.
you.
They were definitely in my top 8. I think for real. Like, all right. Skrillex Butterflies featuring Stara and Fortet. I really love how much Fortet you can hear in this.
Yeah. Are you saying that about the like kind of weird? What specific element of the song are you saying that about?
It's that kind of weird, kind of wavy piano. I want to say
Alien piano voice
it's,
type
it's,
thing.
It's that kind
It's
of
a good combination of both of their styles coming together.
For sure.
I'm not a huge fan of the song. It's got a little groove to it once it gets into it, but I feel like, man, Fortet is a little too discordant for me at times. Like he's always a little off rhythm, a little like I don't know how to describe it. But it goes well with Skrillex because he doesn't stick by the traditional methods of much either. Like they're both kind of sporadic in much different ways. And I don't like Star's voice very much.
No,
but,
I don't either. It didn't really vibe with me, but my notes literally only say I really like how much Fortet you can hear in this.
Which is significant to say, but it's a Skrillex song. So we should be hearing more Skrillex. He actually released another song that I didn't even add because it was garbage. I don't know if it was on your release radar. Yeah, I don't know kind of what it was called. Too Bizarre, I think.
Yeah, it didn't show up on my release radar because I'm pretty sure I unfollowed Skrillex after he put out I think it was Recess, and I was just like, yeah, this ain't it, Chief. And then
hot take, go back to Recess sometime.
Okay.
It's not that bad.
All right. I will never forget walking into Hard Summer 2015 and asking this random dude who was walking kind of like alongside our group. I was like, you guys going to Jack U or you guys going to Rat-a-tat? And he was like, oh, I'm going to Jack U, man. Obviously, who the fuck is Rat-a-tat? And it was that moment that I think I might have lost a lot of respect for popular music.
You're such an old man, Brandon.
I mean, dude, come on, man.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you too, dude. I remember Coachella, I want to say 2011, like standing there and I'm watching Skrillex and then Odd Future and I'm like, I feel old.
Yes.
Like I don't know if this is the crowd for me at this moment, and that was at the peak of them being pretty new. So
yes.
It was an interesting time nonetheless, but we both like there's Skrillex songs that I love and songs of his that'll be so important to me like forever. I don't know if important is the right word, but significant to a time in my life.
Of course. And I mean, if we're just talking about Skrillex, obviously, but then, I mean, Sonny Moore himself, I mean, that's
a
whole different thing. But I do respect him as a musician, even if I don't like a lot of the music he puts out. In fact, I'll go back to Recess. I'll try it, but I remember listening to it and just not being maybe in the right headspace for that level of dubstep anymore. There's still, some bass music that I listen to every now and again, but it's just not.
Think of it as a culmination of Scary Monsters. Think of it as like the LP version of that. That's how I kind of think of it. I mean, obviously, he was never gonna. It's a crime that My Name Is Skrillex is not on streaming like the EP. I don't know why it's not.
That whole EP is really it will always hold a special place in my heart.
Yeah, that EP, Scary Monsters, and Bangarang. I don't know if Bangarang is the name of the EP. Is it?
I think it is.
You guys can verify it if you want, but you know the EP I'm talking about, the one with Bangarang, Kyoto, all those, whatever.
Yep.
He put out 3 fucking perfect EPs. His style got dated and the game kind of passed him by. People's ears didn't want to hear that anymore. It became almost a joke. Like Key and Peele are doing dubstep sketches about your nose bleeding and shit. Like,
what is this shit?
Exactly. And I think when Skrillex still does it, it sounds dated, but it's like that's kind of the sound you went with. But he also has another side to him, like the what's that song off of? I shouldn't be like asking this many questions on my own podcast, but there's that one song off of his first EP, quickly looking it up here, that really took me by surprise. All I Ask of You.
Oh
Like
yeah.
he has, yeah, that ability, or like Long Drive. He just has a different side to him that he doesn't tap into as much anymore that I wish he would. And for those of you who don't know, Brandon and I pretty much come from the scene era of music and are huge fans of his through From First to Last, which I honestly wonder how many fans of his even know who From First to Last are at this point in his career. But I don't know. I think it's hard for us to judge him from a non-biased standpoint sometimes. But like you unfollowed Skrillex on Spotify. Did you unfollow From First to Last?
Obviously not, sir.
Yes, exactly.
Dear Diary, my teen angst has a body count.
Oh my God. Top 10 scene album.
I
We'll
mean,
have that's another podcast for another day, but we are going to have that discussion.
yes, we'll do a throwback episode at some point. But yeah, this song wasn't for me. We'll see. I believe Sleater Kinney, that album or that single will eventually lead to an album, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Let's move on. Let's see here. SG Lewis, Lost in Space with Folamore.
Okay. So this one, um I'll go first on it. It's a fun track. It's weird to see SG Lewis kind of putting out good but small and semi-forgettable EPs to like one of the best albums of the year so far, and he's really found his footing in terms of his sound, to the point where he's making songs sound like SG Lewis songs that aren't even his songs. Like
Yep.
he's featured on this, and the second it starts, you're like, that's an SG Lewis song. Um, that's just not a quality a lot of producers have, and it's crazy that he's gotten to this point with like guys like Zoo, Channel Tress, Flight Facilities, to where like if now you're like, oh, I want SG Lewis on my song or remixing my song, because he's made his brand of like dance music now, and I think it's a brand a lot of people are getting on board with.
Yeah, I agree. This song was funky as all hell, man. It kind of hits that spot. And he has definitely evolved as a musician. He used to do this kind of housey stuff back in the day, which I mean, fuck genres, it's all house, right? But
Yep.
this obviously is his evolution, and he kind of found where he fits, and he found what he's really good at, and it sounds and looks like he's always having fun making this style of music, rather than when I first ran into him, which I think was 2015 is when I first heard of him, and he had released some EP on some obscure record label and was playing Coachella, and he was, I think at 12 p.m. slot at the Yuma tent all the way through what you said, man. Almost the
Yep.
album. It's on my albums of the year list, at least the
Yeah.
contenders list. So
Same.
this song was really good. I really liked it. I had never heard of Folamore, but
Same.
it's modern disco, man. It's about. I think we're gonna hear this sound a lot. And I think SG Lewis is kind of paving the way for it. And I think we're going to see a lot of, I don't want to say copycats, but a lot of people kind of emulating his sound, or at least trying to.
It's palatable. It's
yeah.
very easy to absorb.
For sure. For sure. Alrighty. Moving on. Both of us, Jayda G.
Okay, so we we never talked about doing a album of the month or song of the month, but I'm gonna do both, and this is my
All
song
right.
of the month. This song came on as it might surprise you like how much I love this song, and it's kind of hard for me to like quantify it into words, but so this came on as the Spotify radio suggestion after that SG Lewis and Fullamore song. So I was like, not expecting or even really listening to it. And I ended up like hearing the drop at the end, that piano drop. And I
Yep.
was like, oh my God. And I was like, okay. So I went back and I played it again. And then like from the beginning, it just like really set in with me. And not being hyperbolic, like I drive a lot for my job, and I've listened to this song probably an unhealthy amount of times, like 50 plus this month. I'm obsessed with it. It's like a perfect song to me. I don't even want to say it's like EDM. It's just dance. It's fun. It's jazz. It's so balanced, like the way she builds the atmosphere and the mood with this jazzy piano chords played over just a super simple drum pattern. The voice is just like, it's barely there, but it's enough to just kind of like get your ears, give you the chills a little bit. The mid-song slowdown is brilliant. Like the whole dual filter slowdown and then to bring it back to full speed in one drop is insane. Like you kind of said, we get like mental images when you and I listen to songs we really like. Yeah. And this one, like, one of my favorite movies of all time is Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet. And there's a really famous scene where they meet the first time at that party, and it's like very chaotic and bombastic. If that movie were made today, this song would be the soundtrack to that party, in my opinion.
You know what, man? That is that's an amazing comparison, man. Yeah, this song blew me away. It's infectious. That piano, get out of here, man. That's infectious as fuck. And then that's, like you said, that slow down to that beat drop. Holy shit, man! It got me. I was at work, and I was listening to it in my little headphones. And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna need to hear this one on the speakers." Like, yeah, it was really cool. Thank you so much for adding this on here.
Yeah, throw her Boiler Room set on YouTube in our show notes if you can.
Will do.
I went and like checked out a lot of her sets after this, and she's an artist to watch for sure.
Alrighty, will do. Boiler Room set. I will have to watch that as I add it to the show notes because I'm a big fan of Boiler Room sets. Those,
same.
Fuck, man. I wonder how Boiler Room is going to be. Are they going to survive this pandemic? Let's hope. All right.
Yeah.
Sir, John Redcorn, A Colors Show. So I know you normally add shit like this to the playlist. I'm not plugged into this kind of music at all, and I'm glad that you and I kind of have an outlet. I saw this posted to some subreddit and clicked on it. And honestly, because of the name, I'm pretty sure, isn't that the name from the guy on King of the Hill?
Yes.
And man, I just had to share it. The percussion and the guitar, they work so well together. That bass line that just kind of like meanders its way through the song is just really fucking cool.
Yeah. So yeah, my note started with, I see you adding some R&B. Yeah, my influence is slowly seeping into your brain.
It sure is.
Same way your metal and rock influence is seeping into mine. You are, by the way, my main source of metal and rock, where I get most of my new songs that I like in those genres from. So
I know.
Keep it up.
You come on, man. I know you're a closeted Dying Fetus fan.
I love them. Is that pretty much the extent of what you know about Sir?
That's all I know. This is the first and only song I've ever heard.
He is signed to TDE. He's on the same label as Kendrick Lamar, Schoolboy Q. He is their R&B guy, essentially.
Today I learned.
He put out an album 2019. I want to say that this song was on. I think it's called Chasing Summer is the name of the album. The single was Hair Down with Kendrick Lamar. Great song. This was probably my second favorite song on the album.
Damn, 83 million plays. I thought I was adding something obscure or something. Nope.
I would also say if you're a fan of this and you like his style, I would add DeVille's or DeEvils and Rapper Weed. Those are two great songs of his.
Rapper Weed, I love that shit.
Yeah, there's a really good line in that song that I don't want to misquote, so I'll text it to you later when I remember it. But there's some really great shit. But he's a really good R&B star. He's kind of overshadowed by his label a little bit, but he puts out quality stuff. His last two full lengths are both great and worth checking out, in my opinion.
Cool. I will do. I'll throw both of those on my listen to next playlist. Alrighty, let's do. Okay, so Mastodon forged by Neuron. I originally thought that this was going to be part of a Mastodon album. It is not. It is a single from Mastodon that will be put on a compilation album eventually. I did a little bit of research on this. So Mastodon, I'm a big fan of theirs. Their album, the Leviathan, is based around the book Moby Dick, which is pretty fucking cool in and of itself.
Yeah.
And they put out like a lot of really really cool metal, man. Kind of dad metal in a sense, but they can get pretty
it's
heavy.
anthemic.
Yeah. So what's really cool about this is that I don't know if you looked at the album art at all, but we've got some superheroes up in here. This is apparently going to be put on a compilation album for DC Comics. The album is going to be called Dark Knight's Death Metal. And it is a graphic novel, I believe. They're doing a couple episodes. I think they're doing each graphic novel in video form on their website. I'll link all of this stuff up in the show notes. There's going to be some really neat stuff here. I'm pretty excited for this as a music nerd and an actual nerd. We've got some interesting bands here. Let me see if I can't find it while we're here.
When worlds collide.
That's
awesome.
It's kind of neat, man. Yeah. So Mastodon, Chelsea Wolfe. Funny enough, Health, which we just which just did that Nine Inch Nails.
The Nine Inch Nails, yeah.
Featuring Chino Moreno, which I think is going to be pretty cool. Gray Days, which is dude from Linkin Park, Chester Benningfield's old band pre Linkin Park. Rise Against, Manchester Orchestra, Denzel Curry, Idols, and a few others. So I'll throw a link in the show notes for actually this vinyl and the track list for the album, and some information on the comics that are coming out with it. But I thought it was originally going to be a Mastodon album themed around superheroes. This might even be better.
Yeah, I think it will be. I like Mastodon, but I don't know if I would consider any of their complete albums like full classics.
I agree with that. I like them, but I would agree that they're not. Those albums aren't. They're not. None of them are 10 out of 10s for me, at least.
But I feel like in terms of like pacing an album, you kind of hold back on some songs. And like this song started, like you said, a little bit dad metal, a little hard anthemic rock metal. But that like the fucking end of it gets so heavy. Like they really just went all out. And I think that's what compilations allow you to do. You're trying to steal the show, so to speak. You know, It's a good song. I like it.
Neat. Alrighty. The next single is going to be Tin Liquor's Lost Gravity. This actually, I think they did release the full EP. I just threw the title track on here. People, everybody listening, check out Tin Liquor. I've been a fan of his theirs for a long time. 2015, John Gooch, aka Feed Me, aka Spore, put out a Spore album called Caligo. And that album, when I purchased it, came with a bunch of digital downloads from other artists on the record label, Soto Voce Records, which was owned by John Gooch. And there was two or three songs by Tin Liquor on it, and I immediately was like, this is my fucking jam. And so I really liked the song Lost Gravity. They just kind of, they just get me, man. They just get me.
Yeah, they're good. They're always quality. That's what's good about them. You actually got me into them. You put the song About You, I think, or you sent it to me, or you did put them on my radar with the song About You. I don't remember quite how, if we had the playlist at the time or what it was, but
I'm not sure if we did. I know they put out.
You might have just texted it to me, honestly.
I might have. I do know that I was a big fan of their album in 2019 that they put out called "This Is Not Our Universe," and it just they've got an Alt J remix on there. It just fucking blows me away. So
that's awesome.
There's that. Next one is I actually am not sure. I know that the Fear Factory single is going to lead to an album. I know that the Bachelor single did lead to an album. We can chat about Bachelor for a second. What are your
Sure.
thoughts on Bachelor?
They're good. They remind me of actually a friend of mine that kind of plays like open mic nights and stuff. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way at all, because I think she's really talented. But they're really good. It's an interesting like down tempo style of rock. I liked both songs that you added to it.
Yeah,
I don't really have a lot of extensive thoughts on it, but yeah, they
no,
seem like the type you would kind of like hear live and be like, "Damn, they're pretty fucking good."
yeah, nothing crazy extended thoughts on my end either. Apparently, they're a super group of two girls from some other bands, and I haven't done a whole lot of research on that, but I really dig the sound.
Gotcha.
Larry June, Wait on Me, felt like kind of
Yeah,
a classic.
yeah. He it's classic Larry June, which is funny because he puts out like so many songs with this type of vibe, but it's like it's Sunday music, you know. It's really good. The guy puts out like 3 albums a year, so this is probably from an album, but I don't think we're jumping the gun much on it.
Okay.
It's a good one, man. This is a nice feed up on the Sunday afternoon, you know.
Yep, I dig that.
Next we have Horsey and King Cruel Seahorse, which is really good. So King Cruel is one of my like favorite rock adjacent artists, I would say, and he put out an album in 2018 called The Ooze, and it made me a gigantic fan. I went back and listened to his earlier stuff than that. His name is Archie Marshall. He actually like his first EP, I want to say he's like 13 or 14. Like, and he sounds the exact same, like the fucking cement mixer lungs. Like, the kid can fucking wail. He oscillates between like a weird, spacey alt rock to like just kind of very like guitar heavy. It's very hard to describe. He kind of just creates like his own universes with his songs. He doesn't collaborate a lot, which was why like this kind of surprised me when it popped up. He does have another collaboration called Turtleneck Man. It's a song by Mount Kimby. It's a really good one.
Okay.
But yeah, I loved it. I
The,
think it was a great song. I don't know who Horsey is, but much like the SG Lewis thing, like this just sounds like a King Cruel song to me.
yeah, actually, this really wasn't even my jam. I just didn't like the pentameter and King Cruel's voice. I actually had never heard her. I've heard of them because you've talked about them, and I've never really listened. Him, them, whatever. I've never
So
really.
yeah, it's one guy that's the main guy. He has a live band, but he also has like another project just under his name too that's a little more hip hoppy.
All right.
It's yeah, he's an interesting guy, but I would say if you didn't like this song, there might be a song or two of his that you do like, but he might just not be your bag.
Yeah, and that could be the case.
Yeah.
All right, so this next one, met him last night. Demi Lovato, Dave Auday remix.
Dave Auday.
Who the fuck is Dave Auday?
So I kind of actually discovered him back when I was getting ready to do a set at Toucans in Palm Springs, which for those of you who don't know is a gay club out there.
Absolutely love it.
And
It's a ton of fun. My wife and I love that place.
it is it's a good time. And I was DJing a set out there and I needed some songs and I kind of like I didn't know what to play for that exact scene. Like I had a couple songs loaded and ready to go. I had a Bad Boy Bill, like Whitney Houston remix that I was like kind of hedging as the moment of my set. And I like just didn't have a lot to work with. And I found this guy, Dave Auday, and he's like a big pop remixer. He remixes like all the ones you'd expect, Gaga, like all the big ones. This song came out off Demi Lovato's last album, I think a month or so ago. And it's a generic pop song. And he somehow like managed to inject a lot of life into it. He just remixes like what I would say are generic pop songs into dance floor bangers that at least slap a little bit.
Yeah, this song fucking rips.
Yeah.
For sure, man. It blew me away. I was like, Demi Lovato. All right, let's give it a shot. She's got a good voice, and whoa, like
Yeah.
it blew me away, man. Blew me away. All right, Yo Train.
So he actually released an album, and I only added these two songs just because I wasn't overly familiar with it. Like I heard the song "Time and Space" when I was working on one of my R&B playlists last week, and that's exactly the brand of R&B that I love generally, and because you don't hear it a lot anymore.
Right.
It's a very like, I don't know. It's almost like a Chris Brown meets like Bryson Tiller type of like new thing that just not a lot of people do because they tend to go in. They want to oscillate between hip hop and R&B. They don't want to be pure R&B.
Yep.
Yo Train is one of the guys actually staying in almost that pure R&B lane, kind of like a division. I would say this is much like other genres. I kind of have like a top 4 of albums in each genre that I kind of keep a power rankings on as new albums come out. Gallant, Neptune by Gallant, still my R&B release of the year in terms of albums. But this one is definitely a top 4. I definitely recommend checking it out if you're a fan of the style of R&B.
I actually already did check out the rest of the album because I really liked these songs. The beats are infectious, they're catchy.
Yeah.
The Time and Space is a really good one. Definitely check out anybody listening. Just definitely check out the full album, Time and Space. It's a good one.
Names are getting ridiculous though, man. If I have to say at the end of the year, one of my favorite artists is Yo Train. I don't know how I'm gonna seriously say that.
I mean,
I kid.
Whatever.
There's not a lot of names left. This was always gonna happen eventually.
Right? All right, the band Camino See Through. These guys are the new Click 5. Changed my mind.
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, I added a song of theirs called One Last Cigarette that I'd heard on the radio to our playlist last month. Neither Brandon nor I liked it very much. I thought, let's throw another one on here. For some reason, probably because I listened to that other song, this popped up on like a suggestion type thing.
Yep.
I think it's a couple of years old, but it actually has a lot of plays on it. I don't know why they keep getting recommended to me. I'm not really a fan of them, but I agree. I think they are like a modern version of the Click 5, although I think it's a semi-accurate comparison, although I don't think it's great direct comparison stylistically.
True.
Because they're fusing like pop rock with almost country, like Rascal Flatts melodies in there at times. It's a very odd combination of styles that I don't listen to in my personal time, but I think they pull it off for what it's worth.
If there's anything we can all agree on, it's that life is indeed a highway.
It is. It is.
It was poppy. I didn't see anything wrong with this song, but I wasn't really looking for much to be right with it, if that makes any sense.
Makes sense.
All right, Too Close to Touch. Pick Me Up.
Yeah.
This one kind of threw me for a loop, man. That switch towards the end was neat. Kind of really poppy chorus. I dug this song.
So they're an awesome band that is still kind of keeping the scene alive in some way, shape, or form. I honestly feel like if they were around 07, 09, maybe even 2009, 2010, they would have been huge in that scene, like Sleeping with Sirens, like that type of band.
Yep.
I met these guys at a party one night at my friend's house in LA, and the singer Keaton, like he was a really cool guy. I hit it off really well with him, and like I didn't know their music at all though, and I was like, oh, he's a cool guy, I'll check him out. They were going by the name Cascade then, and of course everyone's like the DJ, and like it was they were spelling it with a C, and then they changed their name to Too Close to Touch shortly after that. They released 2 full-length albums, which are both fantastic. Actually, one of the first songs I added to Brandon's Face, like just throwing songs on when we first started it, was one of theirs called Nerve Endings.
All right.
Like really intense. They're fantastic, man. They're really good. That breakdown at the end of the song is great. They've been releasing these "I'm Hard to Love, But So Are You" EPs over the last 2 years, 3 years. They kind of go a little more poppy with some, not like the band Camino pop, but like not the end of this song either. Like they're definitely experimenting with little bits of subgenres, kind of like not like Bring Me the Horizons subgenres that they're experimenting with, but you can tell they're trying to like find the balance between fan service and longevity. And this was actually one of the first songs I've heard him scream on in like a year or so, and it was nice to hear.
I went ahead and just threw Nerve Endings onto my Listen To Next playlist because I did really like this song. So
yeah, also throw the end of the album, Haven't Been Myself, Eiley. That song, it's a deep song. Just to give you guys like a brief thing, it's about his like younger sister dying of cancer, like at a really young age, and he channeled it into one of the most emotional songs I've ever heard. And like the strain in his voice in that song it'll bring you to tears. It's almost doing it to me now, but I can't recommend them enough. They're really good, and they put some thought into their music.
I will definitely give them a little bit of a listen. Thanks, man.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
Holo.
I thought it was hollow when I added it, but I guess you're right. There is one L.
Something to say. This kind of baseline style is getting kind of popular with the Gen Z, I believe. I don't know. But the song's catchy as fuck.
Yeah. This was another Spotify radio find. I believe it came on after the Jayda G one.
There you go.
It's not on that same level. It didn't hit me like on a life-changing, holy shit way like that did, but it was good enough for me to add it. I liked it. I found myself going back to it a couple times through the month.
Neat. All right, Rootkit, Be With You, featuring Gloria Kim. This had kind of a Cascade redo sound to it, man. Yeah. I really enjoyed this. Gloria Kim's voice is fucking beautiful. I'd never heard of her before or Rootkit, but they're on my radar now. So
yeah, I get a lot of recommendations for songs like this because I listen to like a lot of night drive playlists and weird shit like that. And it's all shit like this. It's like shit that makes you feel like you're driving through space or flying or whatever. It's really heavy bass, usually like high pitched female vocals. Doesn't have to be though. And just a certain edge to the synths. The song brought it though, man. I liked it. I think this is off of an album, but it was just on a suggested thing. And I didn't go back and listen to the whole album, but I enjoyed the song enough to add it.
yeah, I really liked it. So I dug that. All right, Malls Monday, featuring Coda the Friend. All right, man, I'm torn. So, wife and I got into Coda the Friend when he had released Photo, and that album just fucking spoke to me. None of his verse on this song reminds me of anything like that. And I think it just didn't vibe for me. I'm torn because the song is good. It just isn't a very Coda verse to me. And it's funny because every time I see a Coda the Friend verse, like a feature anywhere, I can't help but listen to the song for Coda, and it disappointed me, I guess, a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I can understand that. I think instrumentally it's a great song. I don't know, Mal's Monday kind of reminded me of Goldlink in the way he rapped and that kind of cadence.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't really notice until you pointed it out that his lyrics were starting to trend in a certain direction. But he's got just such a fun vibe and candor to his voice that I think if you're just putting it on for the vibe, it still works. But I do agree that some of his lyrics and features are going in that direction. However, there is another feature of his on this playlist I'm excited to talk about because I feel like it kind of contrasts that thought a little bit.
I mean, if you want to pull your notes up, let's do that. Let's do that single. That.
You want to do that song right now?
Yeah, why not?
Okay,
I
so
was
Malice,
very happy with that.
Yeah, Malice, Coda the Friend, Malice and Lyrical Waterslide featuring Coda the Friend, Woosaw. So you told me that, and I was like, I texted you, and I was like, who's the better feature in music right now, Coda the Friend or Channel Tress? you unequivocally answered Channel Tress, which made me realize, oh shit, yeah, that really wasn't even a question at this point in the year, if you're really weighing them against each other. But I did realize I'd missed this song. And so I threw it on, and I'm guessing Malice and Lyrical Waterslide is a band, because I don't hear any other vocals on the song other than Coda. And this is like, I've never really heard him on his last two albums like this. For almost 4 minutes, 3 full just verses of just straight rapping. Like, and it was refreshing to hear him do, but I guess this is kind of the feature I'm gonna like hold him up to now.
Yeah, my notes say now this is a Coda feature. Because it's not really a feature, it really is him rapping on a song from what looks like a band. I just looked them up. Malice and Lyrical Waterslide. Looks like they released an album called Connectivity that has a bunch of different features from a bunch of different people, which is cool. Maybe I'll check that album out. But I loved this. I think Coda the Friend, with all the work he's been getting and the work he's been putting in the studio, I think he's gonna just blow the fuck up, man. I mean, yeah, I think it's gonna be crazy.
He's dropped 2 classics this year already, and if anyone listening hasn't listened to them yet, do so immediately. Lyrics to Go Volume 2 and To Kill a Sunset?
Yes.
To Kill a Sunrise, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, it's funny when you have an artist release 2 albums and both of them are on your albums of the year contenders list. That's that just means something, man. All right, moving on here. Duke Dumont and Channel Trace, Alter Ego. Fuck, man.
Your thoughts first, my friend.
Oh, man. If this is not played at every single fucking pool party this summer, I'll be super disappointed. It is everything you want from a Duke Dumont track. It's everything you want from a Channel Trace feature. It's a weird duo. I really didn't think that Duke Dumont would ever feature. Like, that thought never came into my head, right? And it just fucking works. This may be my song of the playlist this month, song of the month.
Okay, I fully would respect that, and I could totally see that. It's in the conversation for me, but I'm not gonna waver. Jayda G, you're my heart. This song blew me the fuck away when I saw it was added. I'm a Duke Dumont fan, but I feel like he trended towards the one-hit wonder category with Ocean Drive, and I didn't want him to be that. And he put out Red Light, Green Light 2 years ago, and I was like, oh, this shit's fun. Like, this song is so fucking fun to just drive around to, or to put on it like a kickback. Like, it's a great song. And I like that he's doing this for club play only, like, series, where it's just like, I'm going to give you 2 bangers at a time. You might not like them both, but you're probably going to like one of them. And Channel, holy shit, man. Like, he just reaffirms why he's one of the best features in music right now. Like, I don't know what he's charging, but triple it. Like,
exactly.
Holy shit. Like, and oh my god, the amount of laser sounds at the end of this song, like, Jesus Christ, man. This one's gonna be alive. This one's gonna just tear clubs apart once it's back to normal.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like what you had texted me. I mean, as soon as you hear Channel's voice on the track, you're like, well, it's party time. Like, I can't not party now, you know?
1000%.
All right. Rez, Taste of You. My notes simply say slaps.
Yes. So I've been waiting for her to release this song for a couple months now. She played it at Secret Sky, the same festival End of the World played, and it like caught my ears and my wife's as well. Like, we were both like, get the Shazam out. Like, that's the most old person thing to say before an app, but get Shazam out. Like, we were like, we need to know what it is, and it wouldn't pull. And so like a day later, I think I was watching the set actually a few days after it had aired. So it pulled like an article when we just searched Taste of You, because it says that in the song. And it was like her featuring Dove Cameron, who I don't know, might be like a TikTok person or something. I guess she'd played the song at festivals previously with a different vocalist on it, and I guess didn't like the way it came out. So she redid the vocals. I'm glad she did. It came out fantastic. This song bangs. Um, she has such a high output rate that you imagine her quality would take a dip at some point, but it really doesn't. I feel like that song last year, her big radio one, Someone Else. She had Sacrificial earlier this year with Paris, Hypnocurrency with Dead Mouse, and this song. If she's making an LP with these four as singles, like that's going to be a huge album. We'll see though. She doesn't need to group them. They're already huge on their own, but I like where she's going.
I totally agree. It's a great song. Cinead Harnett, Distraction.
I think it's Sinead.
Sinead, yeah, good song, man. Not my thing.
Yeah, so Sinead Harnett, I believe, is from the UK. She's like an alt R&B person. She tends to release a project like every year. Her exact style of R&B is not my thing, and it changes song to song. But there's usually one song I like on every project of hers for one reason or another. I think the instrumental on this one's like pretty good. I like the vibe to it. I figured it would be a little slower for your taste, but yeah, like she's an interesting one. She does have some like catchier, groovier R&B. This album wasn't it. This was the only song I kind of liked on it, so I threw it on.
Got it. Okay, yeah, it just wasn't my thing, man.
Totally get it.
Dead Mouse and Wolfgang Gartner, Channel 43 Go Freak remix. Loved the original version of this track, but Go Freak kind of went off, man.
Yeah, I liked the original, hard. But I loved this.
Yeah, this goes pretty hard for me. I absolutely love this. This style is just way up my alley.
Yeah, same. They did a great job on it. I don't really have too many comments other than it just. I think he improved on the original in every way. So it's kind of like a Purple Disco Machine situation.
Yes. So Muse put out this. I don't think. Look, they put out Citizen Erased.
20th anniversary edition.
It's like a remix sort of thing. I don't know. I loved it. I thought it was great. Popped up on my release radar. I think I was doing dishes, listening to music, and this popped up, and I was like, "What the hell, man? Is this Muse? This is an old song, isn't it?" And I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, this is it's different. It's pretty good." I miss Muse. Hopefully, they make some more original music.
Yeah, it felt just enriched a little bit. Same song at its core.
Yep. All right, 5,000 Candles in the Wind. R.I.P. Little Sebastian, man.
R.I.P. Little Sebastian.
I know. Actually, we may have even saved this one for when we talk about singles that are moving to the albums. But Mouse Rat is putting out an album.
Oh boy,
which should be interesting. I'm not sure how many of our listeners are Parks and Recreation fans, but I mean.
Is this going to be like when Macho Man Randy Savage put out a rap album? Like, what? Or
one can only hope.
Okay. Obviously a classic.
Obviously
banger.
A classic.
Moving on.
But how many drops are there? All right. The Zoo remix from Coldplay. All right. I didn't really feel like this was Zoo to me.
Yeah, it was boring.
I didn't like it, man. It wasn't my thing.
It's a paycheck. It was like a radio safe. I don't think it's gonna do any numbers. It's a boring remix of a boring song.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Atlas, Long Ride Home. Super chill. Kind of actually had a housey Coldplay vibe to it.
Yeah, but in a way that, like, I guess I liked a little bit.
Yeah, I dig this one.
He's just good at, much like I said, King Cruel earlier, kind of a way of creating his own worlds and then making music that fits within that realm, you know?
Yeah, I dig that. I like that. Alrighty, Audrey Nunna?
Nunna? Yeah. So she released a song last year called Damn Right. It's like a really funny kind of joke flex flow. Talks about like having fucking a flask full of Powerade, and it's just like a really funny song. She dropped an album. It's not really my style, but she's talented, and I like Saba, who's featured on this song. It's good. It's catchy. The hook was catchy. going a little bold with the lyrics. I might just Kurt Cobain it, just face it.
Did you write that down too? Because that's what I
Yeah.
wrote down in my notes.
Yeah, that's a
Oh,
pretty
that's funny.
strong lyric right there.
Sure is.
It's a bold line.
Yeah, for sure. I actually didn't like Saba's voice. I did dig. I did like the verse. It just Saba's voice just didn't do it for me, man.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would say if you liked her at all, Damn Right is a decent song of hers.
All right. Coltrane, whatchamacallit. I love this beat.
Yeah, he's kind of a rap R&B hybrid. Not my favorite like flow style that he has on this song, but it's a bop.
Yeah,
It was fun.
the beat's a lot of fun.
It's clearly like a demo song that just he released, but it was okay.
Yep. All right, Currency, The Alchemist, Freddie Gibbs. Fuck, dude, Freddie's verse goes
Okay.
fucking hard, man.
So my two favorite things in the world are Freddie Gibbs and breakfast food. So Freddie Gibbs rapping about breakfast food almost put me in cardiac arrest. Yeah, my only note is Freddie Gibbs is so good it's really not even fair.
Right.
Like Currency's great, and he just makes him sound like you just forget he's even on the song by the end of it.
I didn't even like Currency's verse because Freddie killed it so hard, I think.
Yeah,
You can't really compare the two in the same song, so.
That if Freddie releases his full length this year, it's game over for everyone, I think.
Right.
So, we'll wait.
Yep. All right. Victoria Monet. Fuck.
Yeah. So
Friend
I
you
don't
can
know.
keep?
So do you know who she is at all?
I don't.
So this might not surprise you at all. She's one of Ariana Grande's main writers, which is why you probably think the song sounds very familiar. Like
It
who else
does.
would sing a sexual innuendo song? She also wrote the 34 plus 35, 69 song that's on the radio. So clearly she's into these like sexual innuendo,
Yep.
like name songs, whatever. She's got a decent pop R&B voice. It's not a harmful song to anybody. It's stupid, but it's fun.
The song's okay. Title's really cool.
Yep, exactly.
All right. Tone Stith.
Yes.
Not my scene, man. I like the beat, just not my scene.
So I added a song of his last month or a month before that called FWM that you actually did like. And he like is definitely he's unapologetically R&B. Like this guy,
Love that.
He's probably in my like top 20 R&B scene, which for those listening, R&B is like one of the few genres where Brandon and our tastes don't overlap entirely here. Like
Yep.
it's a work in progress. Yeah, so he kind of reminds me of like 2015 Bryson Tiller Trap Soul, like a bit more gassed up version of that. I hope that this song is from an album that he's working on, because I feel like he's kind of peaking vocally right now as an artist, and his last 3 releases have all been really, really good. Devotion, FWM, and this one. And yeah, I just hope we get more of it. But
Cool, man.
yeah, I'm sorry you don't like him, but you are going to be hearing a lot more of him.
Hey,
So-
you know what? That's fine, man. This song just wasn't my thing, and I
yeah,
remember.
no, it's a pretty bare bones. Like I don't even remember the lyrics to the song at all, but
Got
I
it.
know that the beat slaps a bit.
So the next one is Martin Garrix's "Pressure" featuring Tove Lo. Is this track too slow? Like I don't know, man. I just didn't vibe with it. It's like at a weird tempo.
So my buddy that sent me that Body Ocean remix of Anything, this is another one of his recommendations that he sent me. Shout out Asai. Him and I like really bonded over electronic music, and I think at the time, like Martin Garrix was only known for one thing, and that's animals. Like
Obviously.
he's grown beyond that.
Absolutely.
This song, Tovlo does a good job on the vocals. I feel like this is where he's going to be more radio friendly. I don't think it's going to be necessarily what you and I appreciate, but I think he's kind of going for like Zed meets Flume, like
Yeah,
radio friendly, but still like an edge to it type of thing.
I dig
That's
that.
the vibe I get
I,
from it.
I mean, the song was catchy. It just feels there's just something off. Just something
Yeah.
off.
So the catchy part is the Z part. The something off part is the flute
Oh
part.
man, I will say, man, I've seen Zed twice, and that dude puts on a fucking show.
Zed's phenomenal. He's great.
In fact, back when Martin Garrix released Animals, I think it was 2013, and I remember really wanting to get a good spot for Zed at the festival, and I had to sit through Martin Garrix's set, and it wasn't really my scene because it was really that it was Animals. It was right after he had released Animals and got super popular.
Everything he was playing sounded like that.
Yeah, everything he was playing was sounded like that, and I just kind of sat there waiting for the crowd to disperse so I could get a good spot for Zed. Zed blew me the fuck away though.
Yeah.
All right, Tulip Sidewinder. I thought it was dope. I love this girl's voice. I listened to progressive metal. It's a playlist by Spotify on Spotify, and you don't really hear a whole lot of girls' voices on that playlist. And this is just heavy enough to kind of make her voice shine in a weird way. I really dig it. I've heard nothing else from Tulip, but I definitely will be hearing more.
Yeah, it's good, like symphonic metal, I guess is the way they self-describe themselves. Reminded me of In This Moment a little bit, but I think it's more than their own thing than copying them. That's just the easiest place for my brain to go. Her voice is very impressive. I hope that like Ozfest type things return, because I feel like those are the types of things where bands like this really can get new fans. Seeing 1,000 different band names on your computer screen, not knowing who to click, like, is a daunting task. But like walking by a stage and seeing some like girl fucking singing beautifully over like heavy metal will catch your fucking attention every time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. All right, next is Idols, Gang of Four. I don't think that this is going to turn into an album, but it's Idols, Gang of Four, Damaged Goods. I've never heard of Gang of Four. Is this
not from the superhero thing too? Didn't you say they were going to be on it?
Yes, but I don't think this is the song. I don't think that this is the song. This is just another song. I'm just a huge Idols fan. I love it. It's
a fun song
for sure. It's new Idols is always appreciated. Sum 41, weirdly enough. So their last album was really aggressive when they put that out. This kind of feels like a return to form for them, and I did enjoy this song. Very good.
I felt the opposite. I didn't enjoy it. Really? I felt like they trend chased a little bit, trying to go with Nothing Nowhere as a feature. I feel like if they would have just released it as a Sum 41 song on its own, it probably would have been fine. The hook is catchy on it. It's a little uninspired, I guess.
Okay, that's fair. I did still enjoy it though.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all nostalgic for this sound. Right. But I think, I don't think it'll stick with me. Yeah, I don't think it'll be a song I return to very often.
All right, that's fair. It's kind of that. What's the song name that I kind of like thought of when I heard it? It is
the Sum 41 song.
Yeah, it's off of Chuck. Pieces. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. It kind of brought me back to that a little bit, but I actually don't know who Nothing Nowhere is.
He's like a solo guy. Travis Barker worked with him. He's got a song called Destruction that I think was pretty catchy.
Okay.
That's about it. He's not one of my favorites, but he does have a few catchy songs.
So moving on, we have the Martin Voss, Nils Davids, and Klangstoff song Behind the Rocks. I didn't like this song. It's nice to see Klangstoff, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's kind of like a Passover. I think it's just like all these Dutch, Norwegian, Swedish artists kind of just working together on some jam music. It's not a Klangstoff song, that's for sure. Like, it didn't stick with me the way their music usually does.
Right.
And yeah, like the Sum 41, I don't see really myself like listening to it beyond this month very often.
Yeah, same. Leighton Giordani, Hyper World. I just love this dude's stuff. Heavy techno. There's not much more you can really say about it on my end,
Yeah,
at least.
it's a really good song. It's a really slow build in the beginning, but it's a payoff once it really like gets into gear there.
Right. Um, all right. Another Armin Van Buren.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
man.
I just
My notes say yup.
yeah, true. Good song, man. Like he's on the path. Like the artwork is very similar to the other one, so maybe it is an album.
Maybe we'll see. Another Bachelor song. It is an album. I don't think that we should review the album or anything next month. We should listen to it though, because it's I do enjoy their sound. It's
Definitely.
weird. There's really nothing of note about their music, but I do like having them on. Does that make sense?
True. Yeah. I agree.
Wax Motif, Need You. So I like Wax Motif, and I actually threw this on without even listening to this song first, and then I listened to it. I don't like the chipmunk vocals. Bad song structure here as well. It just didn't do it for me, man.
There's those vocals are just like it's a hit or miss thing, man. Yeah, I agree. In this song, it just wears on you. Wax Motif has been on and off my radar multiple times the last like 5 years, I feel like,
Yeah.
and currently off my radar. So when you threw this on, I was like, oh, a new song, and it kind of starts, and you're like, it starts like decent, but then I just feel like by the end of it, you're kind of ready for it to be over.
Yeah. I actually kind of changed it halfway through because I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, not my thing. All right, Bob Sinclair, We Could Be Dancing. This dude's a fucking legend, man.
Yeah. This feels like if Whitney Houston were alive, like a song that she would be like buying and putting on one of her albums for
Right.
sure.
Like it's just house wouldn't be the same without people like this.
Nope.
Yeah, Bob.
It's a great song.
Bob kills it. Alrighty, I think that is. Oh no, Lily Pichu, Dreamy Night.
Okay. So she is like a Korean YouTube girl, I believe. And she like plays a bunch of different instruments too. I think she's a gamer. She creates like lo-fi bedroom pop, like mostly instrumental stuff. I think this was one of her first vocal songs. Like obviously it kind of evokes like that anime credit sequence type of thing. But I'm honestly surprised at like how good the song structure is and how like it builds, and the piano at the end like gets into that just really like lo-fi kind of groove. I like it. I've listened to it multiple times this past month, and I enjoy it.
I liked the song. I didn't like the squeaky vocals, man. I don't know. I don't know if it's just I've
Yeah,
heard
that's
it.
Yeah, I think that's associated with the culture, but
I
yeah,
see.
I definitely get what you're saying.
Okay. Next is Jomza. I
Yeah,
can't do that.
I think it's just Jamza.
Jamza?
There's no way
Okay.
that N is not silent. So Over and Done. She popped up on my radar a few years ago with a song called Lonely Nights off of one of her EPs. I kind of forgot about her until this popped up on my release radar. It's good. It's nothing remarkable, but I think she has the potential to make a good pop album, so kind of keeping an eye on her.
Really great beat. I like the beat a lot.
Yeah.
And then Jay-Z, DMX, and Nas. It's all three of them at the top of their game, if you ask me. Nas's verse is amazing.
So I'm like torn on this one. I feel like individually it all works, but I didn't enjoy it because it all felt tacked together. Like it didn't feel like it was a. So Jay-Z like recycling flows doesn't bug me. The guy's been rapping for 30 fucking years. Obviously, he's not going to be able to like keep coming up with new things. But like three legends on their track, like your expectations are going to be tip top, and I just feel like they're all so good, but like it didn't feel cohesive. Like the instrumental underwhelmed me for what I was expecting in terms of production level. And while that might have been intentional because DMX is a more raw artist, like his vocals even sound like they're mixed differently, or like he recorded them on like not as good of a microphone. Like it there's like things with the production that I'm a little torn on. And in terms of Jay-Z, like it's interesting where he's at because 444 was a great album. I would say like an instant classic. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. His two verses this year are both with deceased people. Like he did one with Nipsey and now he's done one with DMX, which I'm assuming is his way of paying it to the family. Like, hey, I'm gonna do a song on your this person's album so that you get all this streaming money for their estate and can take care of your family, you know? Which, if that is any part of the reason, that's awesome. But I do feel like he's kind of in a weird holding pattern as an artist at the moment. Like, we don't know, is he retired and just kind of doing these as one offs, or is he like motivated to keep going? And then you have Nas, who is coming off a Grammy win for his last album,
Yeah.
King's Disease last year, which is phenomenal, and he still sounds like he's at the top of his game. I really have no complaints about Nas's verse. I think all their verses are great. I just
I see
think
what you're
they're
saying.
tacked together interestingly.
All their verses are great, but they just don't work together. I could see that, but I don't know. Maybe I only listened to it once. I think I listened to it this morning, and Nas's verse just stood out to me. I mean, as is
Yeah.
tradition, I guess, with Nas, you know.
I just have a really hard time believing that this was recorded while DMX was alive. It feels like something they did to like get extra shine for him. Like, oh, throw
Could be,
Jay-Z and Nas collab on there because those are so rare.
could be, man.
All right. That is the end of one-off singles, right?
Yep, absolutely. Now we're gonna head over to the next segment, which is the singles that are leading to an album for sure.
Producer, put that music there.
We'll definitely put that music there. Let's exclude obviously the singles that are included on the albums that we have
Yes.
added to the playlist. All right, I think I'd like to talk about Modest Mouse first.
Okay.
Modest Mouse, man. I'm infatuated with this band, dude. They just every time they release music, it just is it's special. Every single time, and they just put you can tell they put so much thought into their metaphors, and I don't know what Ivan what kind of drinking Ivan's been doing lately, but man, that dude can fucking write. It's been 6 years, 6 whole years, and this is I think the album releases next year, or next month rather, on the 11th. I'll have to double check that. It's probably it's my most anticipated album right now, after the albums that have already come out. Couple of quotes for "We Are Between." "We are between dust and stars." Fuck me up, man. They just their lyrics just always speak to me. And then on the most recent album, or the most recent release, the most recent single, that is "Leave a Light On." This album's going to shape up to be pretty interesting, man. I'm excited to review the whole thing. I think it's just going to be an interesting addition to their catalog.
Yeah. My notes actually aren't too different. I kind of say, yeah, like it's very consistent. The way that they write music is always at such a high level that you have to listen to it with like a very close ear and to really appreciate all the nuance to his lyrics and his metaphors, like you said. But overall, their music just they're so good at not repeating themselves, but keeping things familiar, which I feel like is such a hard line to walk. I liked both songs, and I'm excited to review the album.
Sick. I think the next one is going to be Gorgon City. Tell Me It's True. I'm a big fan of Gorgon City. When I first heard of them, I think it was 2014, 2015. And they had just, or were about to rather, release Sirens 2014, looking at it now.
Okay.
They blew me away, man, when I first saw them live. I've seen them do a live set with their band. I've seen them do a DJ set. And I'm excited. It's the same thing every time, but I'm just stoked for it.
I didn't actually know that you'd seen them live. I really enjoyed this song, and I actually wrote, "Yeah, this is the type of music that translates well live."
Yeah, it's
I didn't know it was from an upcoming album either. So
yes, it is. I believe it's due out next month. It could be next month or July. But yeah, man, I've seen them. I've seen them twice, and they do a live band. So
that's
it's
awesome.
yeah, it's really neat, man. There's like 8 of them up on stage. There's this dude's playing the xylophone thing to get that kind of metal future housey
Yeah.
sound to it. It's really neat. I'm stoked for it. Um, Alrighty. Let's
We're gonna
see.
review Star Booty again. All right.
So I think the next one is Joywave.
Okay.
Joywave, the 2 songs
After
here.
Coffee and Every Window is a Mirror.
Yep. So I don't know what your uh, relationship with Joywave is, but
Very casual.
I discovered them last year or the year before, and just they put out a song called. And if anybody listening hasn't heard it, please go listen to Tongues. It's a good song, and it just kind of drew me in. It's funny. I discovered them, Sir Sly, and Atlas Genius all at the same time, like on the same day, and they've
Yeah.
become some of my favorite artists in the indie scene. And yeah, I'm stoked for the album. Joywave has such a way about them, with like their melodies that just kind of grab me. Quote from After Coffee. After coffee, sitting all alone in thought, wondering if I should give it up, move away, and find a little spot on the coast. I think we've all talked about that at some time with either a significant other or a friend. It's just kind of like that dreamy kind of what if, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just really liked it.
Yeah, I enjoyed both songs. I think I told you that my wife and I started a playlist about coffee like a while back.
Yes, you did.
And so this song she actually found, I heard it, the After Coffee one I'd heard like a little bit before you added it because she added it to our playlist for that. And I really enjoyed it. I don't know that they're typically the band that I would like go out of my way to listen to. Because when I got to like Every Window is a Mirror, I liked the song, and I like obviously I'm a very casual like fan of theirs. I don't know
Hmm.
in depth much of their stuff, but I'll add what you've recommended for sure and check that out. I liked After Coffee, and that if that's an indication of where the album is going, it's good. The second song felt a little too chanty to me in the chorus,
Okay.
but other than that, I thought they were good.
Cool. Well, we're gonna review the album when it comes out, and
Yeah.
I think everything is gonna make sense in context for you, and even if it doesn't, whatever. All right. Justice. I mean Gaspard Augé. Augé. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Auger, yeah.
It's another Justice song.
Yeah. So, let me find my notes on this really quick. Okay.
I can see this song being like a transitional song during a live set.
hmm It's another banger. I don't have a lot to say about it. I'm really excited about the album. I guess my one question is, hearing these first 2 songs, it's already an instant classic and would have fit perfectly in the Justice discography. Should he/they have just released this as a new Justice album, since it would have only cemented their legacy further? Does he
So
need to do this on his own?
I think here's what I think, man. I have a feeling that Justice is probably unable to attach their name to an album right now, and this could be a way that they are. And I'm just guessing here. I have no idea, but it feels to me that with how similar this sounds to Justice, it seems to me that it's like, well, they may be like contractually obligated to not release an album right now, and that could be why they're releasing it under one of their names. I don't know, but that's really the only justification that I can think of for why.
Because it's just Justice. Like,
It's
it
just
just sounds like
Justice.
Justice. It doesn't sound like anything else. But
Yeah, we'll see.
but
We'll
I'm
see.
very excited for the album, and I love both songs.
Of
So.
course, of course. All right, fuel injected suicide machine by Fear Factory.
Yes, sir.
I am. I fucking love this band, man. They
Yeah.
yeah, they are just another fucking banger. They just have this. They have this. They have this like dystopian future cyberpunk kind of feel to them, and I can't get enough of it. I've been listening to them since I was like 14 years old, man.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, they've been around for a long time.
Very long time.
I don't have a ton of notes on the song. I did think that it felt like it's weird to say it's not a slower version. It's a slightly more melodic version of Job for a Cowboy, is what
Yeah.
it reminded me of.
I could dig that. I could dig that. I think the Carnifex song is also getting going to be on an album. I could be wrong, but we haven't talked about it. So just classic deathcore.
Yeah,
Classic.
another classic Carnifex song. They tend to either go the party metal route like Attila, or go the more death metal route like Winds of Plague. And this song, especially the back half, goes that route.
For sure. And then Atlas Genius, Elegant Strangers. I really liked this song. It didn't hit like some of their other ones have, but again, I when I discovered Atlas Genius, I kind of fell in love. My wife and I were just bumping them constantly on their last two albums, When It Was Now and Inanimate Objects. Those were just staples in our lives a couple of years ago, and I'm glad that they're releasing a new one. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with them. I thought the song was good. When looking into them further, I do realize you listen to a lot of music from Australia.
Oh, these guys are Australian too?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's a great transition to the 12-Foot Ninja single.
Oh boy. Okay. I have words, my friend.
Let's hear 'em, man.
No,
Let's hear
so
'em.
this one, I did not expect this or know what the fuck I was listening to for a minute. Like, I mean, I guess I've done it a lot on this already, and I shouldn't keep comparing, but like, it's very like System of a Down adjacent type of music. Like, I don't really know how to define it. And then it gets like almost operatic near the end with the like, it's a very epic type of sound that's very chaotic and sporadic in the way that it like progresses and changes through it. It's a very wild fucking song.
Yeah, it's a wild ride. The album's going to be interesting. I definitely recommend you take a look at the albums that they have put out prior to this. I'm looking at the playlist. I'm not seeing the single here, so I can click on their name. But they're fun. They're genre benders. They're definitely from Australia, also.
Yeah.
So there's that. Yeah, I didn't really like this song that much. I think it feels a little bit too try hard, but I did get some. I actually got some Between the Buried and Me vibes from it.
Yeah.
Just like newer Between the Buried and Me vibes.
A deep guttural scream. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Infected Mushroom.
Oh man. Jesus Christ.
We should start an Infected Mushroom spin class.
Yeah. It would never end. It would just go on forever. Shit.
Oh yeah, they're
great.
they're so good
They
at what
don't-
they do.
Yeah, they don't lose a step. My Infected Mushroom review of this song is my Infected Mushroom review of every song. It's fantastic. You could never ever create something like it if you're not them.
Right.
And you could never pull it off even if you could.
Exactly.
They are one of one. I'm going to create a new category, and this is my if you haven't seen them live category. You need to immediately is Infected Mushroom this month.
All right. Yeah, I actually have not seen Infected Mushroom live.
What?
I haven't.
Hold on.
I've been to so many shows, man, and they've
Have
never
you ever been at a show they played and you just didn't see them?
Oh man, I'm gonna speak out of turn here because I've been to a lot of Coachellas, and I have a feeling that they were at one of them, but I think
Yeah, they played either 10 or 11. They were after. Were you there the year Club that Ed Banger did the Club 75 live show?
If I was, I didn't see it.
Ah, okay. So like it was like the Justice guys, Busy P, some other guys. And they were on like right after. But
Oh,
yeah, that
okay.
was my first time seeing them. I've seen them at what used to be the Music Box, and I think is the Fonda in LA
Which
now.
is a fun venue.
Yeah, one of my favorites for sure. I love that venue.
Idols just sold out 3 shows there after the
Oh,
Peppy and Harriet show. So,
it's so fun because like the rooftop bars and shit. It's a lot of fun, man. I
yeah.
love that spot. But anyways, back on track.
Um,
Was that the last single?
there's one more at the gates. The Paradox.
Oh, okay.
Bro, what the fuck happened to this guy's voice?
Yeah, I wrote the vocals are shit, but the music is awesome.
Dude, that guitar solo, that breakdown at the end. Come on, man.
Yeah.
They're. It's like the bandmates are all at the top of their game except for the vocals. I don't know what's happening. Um, I mean, judging by this single and the one they put out the other day, or when was that? That was looks like Spectre of Extinction was the last single they put out. His voice sounds the same, so
Hmm.
I kind of hate that. I kind of
Yeah.
hate that his vocals are like that. I'm sure the album will still be good, but it's just not at the gates that I remember. I mean, if your vocals are that fucked up, man, maybe don't.
Yeah.
How are you gonna tour, man? That's gonna fuck your throat up. If it
Yeah.
already sounds this fucked up, I don't know what he's gonna do. It's kind of disappointing, but again, that breakdown was so heavy, like so heavy.
Agreed. Agreed.
All right, I think that's the last single, and I think we should jump into the albums.
All right. My favorite
All
album
right,
reviews.
all
So
right.
just so people know, we will be reviewing, I think, pretty much all albums from 2021 this month, except for Lucid Planet 2, which was from last year, I believe.
Yes, it was.
Um, and we will also make note that the Solomon album that just dropped, we will be doing a brief reaction to, but not really a full review since we haven't had time to absorb it.
Yeah, we haven't had time to absorb it completely, and then
And we might not review it either because from what we've absorbed, it's okay.
we'll see. All right, so
But
I have some thoughts on Chauvel's Neuratius. I think that's how you pronounce it.
yeah,
Um,
sure.
I always forget how heavy this band can be. Um, I was pleasantly surprised. I forgot that I had followed Chauvel a few years ago, and went to Aftershock in 2019 and had the opportunity to see them, but somebody else was playing at the same time, and I said, whatever. We've all heard the Red, so. When this album dropped, I was like, you know what, I'll give it a listen. It was early in the morning when I first heard it, and that intro, Verrucht, it made me kind of stop in my tracks and be like, okay, they might be onto
Mhm.
something here. And then just took me on a fucking journey, man. The instrumentals on Mars Simula are just fucking awesome. It's angry. It's got probably some. I would presume that they're pandemic-driven dystopian lyrics. I'm not sure if you pulled the lyrics up, but I did a number of times. It's a solid album, man. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 on my end. I was very pleasantly surprised as to how heavy and approachable and dystopian it was for Chauvel.
Mhm. What was your favorite track?
Mars Simula.
Okay, great. So was the first time you listened to it right before you added it to the playlist?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So we like absorbed it at the same time.
Yes.
So yeah, you threw this on there, and I kind of had the exact same reaction to it. I was like, Chevelle, like,
Right.
I enjoyed this album way more than I thought I would. I haven't listened to them a lot since 2002 when it was like The Red and Send the Pain Below and all that type of stuff. I was surprised this one, I like ended up listening to it front to back so many times within just the first few days of you adding it. Not just because it was the only thing on the playlist for a minute, but because it's a great album. And it's a great album if you want to get that like early 2000s hard rock style, very reminiscent of bands like Tool and Trapped. Uh, I want to acknowledge also the way that they like kind of pieced this album together, which I think is a big way that I like take notice of how much thought was put into it. Cause like the transitions from Pistol Star to Peach are so seamless that you don't even know that they're happening if you're not like actively watching the song names change.
Right.
Yeah, it and making seamless transitions makes an album feel more cohesive and immersive to me, which gives it points. I probably ended up listening to the whole album back to front to back about 10 times. I'm not not that crazy. And it's still in my rotation. I really like it. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. My favorite track was Self-Destructor.
All right, that's a really good one. Mars Simula was the first song that I heard off of it, because I just randomly clicked one just to see what the sound was when I saw the album come up, and yeah, man, I loved this album.
Yeah, the first half, like you could almost pick any song. So Long, Mother Earth was also like that was really hard to pick between those two for me.
I think that's the most sing alongable song of the album. It's got that anthemic kind of chorus.
Yeah, totally.
All right, Orion's Belt. So I can't even tell you how I found this band. What I have no idea. But I found this band. They're from Norway, I believe, or Finland. One of those. Let's see. Now I'm curious. From Norway, and a lot of it is just instrumental rock music. I had added a few of their singles to the playlist last month. They're just really easy listening. They're artfully instrumental. They're kind of bluesy. They're kind of jazzy at times. This album is just the chillest of the vibes. Speakeasy, I think, is my standout track.
Okay.
I really like the way they structure their pitch and beat changes mid-song. Conversations is a great song, although for some reason I don't really like that person's voice. The lyrics are pretty good though. I don't know, man. Is this indie? Is it blues? Is it post rock? I don't really know, but I know that every time I listened to this album, I didn't turn it off until it was done. So I really liked this piece of music. I actually gave this a 7 out of 10 as well.
Okay, I don't have a ton to say about this. Their music is enjoyable. It's nice to throw on, like especially while you're doing stuff around the house and things like that. It's definitely that kind of music. It feels like a cop out to say that it reminds me of Explosions in the Sky, so I'm gonna steer away from that just because they're instrumental. They kind of remind me of a cross between like Klangstoff and Tycho. I wasn't a big fan of the track with vocals. I felt like the album didn't need them and it would have been just fine without them.
Yep.
A few of the tracks that I actually found myself going back to were What's With You and Bean. I think What's With You was my favorite. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Nice. Cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it and that much, because I was honestly on the fence as to whether or not you would.
It was a grower. It took about 2 to 3 listens to like really get above like 5 to me. But yeah.
I figured. All right, man. I've got some words on Lucid Planet. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You told me that this album means a lot to you last month when you were telling me you were going to add it. So I want your words on it first.
All right, buckle the fuck up.
Okay.
There was an album of the year thread on the progressive metal subreddit, and someone mentioned this album. It was as far down the thread as you can imagine. Didn't have any attention. Nobody was looking at it, and for some reason, man, I just thought to myself, you know what? I need to take a look at that. So I did. As of this writing, or as of this playlist today, recorded on the 30th of May, Lucid Planet has under 19,000 monthly listeners, which to me is just criminally underrated. this is absolutely the album that should have been released instead of Fear Inoculum. If you ask me, it's not really all at all metal. It's not all metal. This genre or this band kind of genre blends really well. Um, and so Anamnesis is the perfect opener, kind of sets the stage. Quote, I'll bear it all, unquote. They really kind of set the stage for the rest of the album. It's heavy, but not, you know. Entrancement is kind of primal and a little odd, but like I'm not really mad at it, you know. Uh, Organic Hard Drive was actually the first song that I ever heard from them. That's the first song that I put on when I followed that Reddit thread. Uh, all right, where do we start? Is it metal? Is it psytrance? The world may never know, man. But for some fucking reason, it works. Quote, but why walk alone in dissonant apathy? High time we sink to one pulse, unquote. If that's not a call for unity, man, holy shit, I loved that line. It's such a rallying cry. It's got that sweet 4/4 breakdown. It's so sick. Uh, Surprisingly, Offer might even be my favorite song on this album, which is the song after Organic Hard Drive. I actually didn't expect that this song was going to be my favorite off of the album because, I mean, anybody who knows me and my metal listening, you would have thought Anamnesis or Zenith would be my
Mhm.
favorite, but it's not. I think it's Offer. It's a dub song, fucking
Yeah.
randomly. Like how these dudes are so good. How are these dudes so good at all of these different sounds, right?
Mhm.
Lost and found again, and embracing new horizons, foreign lands. The time is drawing near to make a choice, an inner voice to guide me along the way. I think we've all felt this at least once in our lives. I love this song. I don't know. It just speaks to me. On the way, the progressive metal. This is the way the progressive metal should be. These dudes are fucking tempo change masters, man. They do that like 3 times in this song. Um, and the moment I saw the cost of illusions, what a fucking line. Digital Ritual is very clearly about psychedelics. I don't know if you pulled their lyrics up at all, but it's probably DMT. Is it dubstep? What the fuck is happening here, man? How does it work so well? Like, is this bass nectar connecting with
I
fucking
mean, the
Tool?
way that they fuse the rock and the electronic music, like I think I told you when you threw them on there, I told you like at first it reminded me of like Infected Mushroom meets Black Sabbath, and
Yep.
I think that may be true for a couple songs on here, but like you said, they're so all over the place that you really can't pin that to like a direct thing. Um, Bass Nectar, I mean that's a I wouldn't even say that necessarily. I would say the way that they marry the two is as successful as the way Pendulum did, but not in the
Okay.
same way Pendulum does at
Of course
all.
not. Of course not. Yeah, you can't really classify the genre of really any of these songs. Um, and then finally, Zenith kind of brings it all the way back, right? Brings it back
Hmm.
to that progressive metal. Um, I've got a couple of lines here. So lost within our worlds, we so often forget how much remains unseen. Um, the way this album blends everything, coupled with how well they make it work, um, is just incredible. This is a 9 out of 10 for me, man. This is. I mean, it's close to a 10 out of 10. Um, I'd call it a 9.5. It just, I don't know why it fucking speaks to me, man. I bought the CD when the CD came from Australia, which is funny, it's another Australian band. When the CD comes, it came with a little incense stick, and it says, there's a little card, and it says, put this on your best speakers, burn this incense, pour yourself a drink, or whatever other chemicals you want to use, and listen to it all the way through.
That's
So,
awesome.
what are your thoughts? I'm dying to hear them.
I really enjoyed it. So this album is, like I said, is the only album this month we're reviewing that's not from 2021. It came out last year, but I've never heard it, so it was new to me. You told me about Lucid Planet and about how this album specifically, in our one of our recent conversations, meant so much to you. So I knew I was going to be in for a treat, like just because of how much I trust your taste with these things.
Yep.
I was not disappointed either. This is an extremely deep and technical album while also being ridiculous and over the top at times.
Right.
Some of the direction songs go, like my personal favorite, and I guess it's kind of funny that it was the first song of theirs you heard, Organic Hard Drive.
Yep.
Like where the song ends up going in the back half will take you for a fucking loop a few times for sure. I think the two best qualities a band in this day and age can have is being original and being unpredictable, and they have both right now. So
Yep.
I would definitely say like they're going to be ones to watch. In terms of like hitting me to like the 9-10, I gave it a 7 out of 10, which I think
Okay.
is good because I enjoyed it. But obviously, like who knows? I think if I give it more and more time to appreciate it, and like you said, dig into the lyrics more, I'll probably grow with it more over time. But as of right now, I really enjoyed it and look forward to hearing more from them.
Cool. Love it. Glad you got to hear it. You're actually the first person that I've shared this album with. I discovered them during the pandemic, and obviously I've shared them with my wife, but
Yeah.
it's really not up her alley. And I mean, it's I mean, let's be real, it's a weird fucking album.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you enjoyed it. I think 7 out of 10 is great. I personally, it speaks to me. I definitely recommend sitting down front to back with the lyrics in your hand or on your phone and really kind of dig into it. It tells a story throughout the entire album that I think is it's relatable to me, and I've never even done it. So
Oh yeah, I'll be going back to it
I'm sure
for
you will.
sure.
All right, Mr. J. Cole.
Oof. Okay, so I added this one. We both knew it was coming because I think it was announced the week before.
Yep.
This is not his best. I haven't been a big fan of his last two albums either. They both had songs on them that I enjoy, but they were both far from the classics that I would consider Cole World, Born Sinner, and 2014 Forest Hills Drive to be.
Right.
He still has incredible penmanship. I guess his lyrics, his ability to mix up flows, like he keeps my ears perked up for new wrinkles into what he's adding to like his repertoire. But as a whole, his music just doesn't have the same vibe that it used to, like that it did when he was one of my favorites. You'd think I wouldn't be disappointed because it's almost what we're expecting at this point after the last two albums. But like I really enjoyed Middle Child, and last year he released The Climb Back from this album as well as Lion King on Ice, and I thought all three of those songs were great. And so if we were heading in that direction for an album, I was really excited. But I guess those just kind of turned out to be exceptions. The Climb Back is still my favorite song on the album. It's what I hoped the whole album would sound like since it was the first single released from it. I will say after multiple listens, the back half of the album is better than the first half, but it's not great either.
Yeah.
I I want to give it a 6, but it's probably a 5.
So this is a good rap album. This is a bad J. Cole album, and that's kind of
Yes.
what I texted you as soon as I was done listening to it, because that's just kind of what it said to me, man. Look, it's gonna get hugely commercially successful. It's got some great beats. It's got the features. It's got the radio friendliness to it. I mean, but look, it's good for what it is, I guess. I fell in love with For Your Eyes Only. I don't know
Hmm.
why, but I just connected so hard with that album. And as a rapper, him being able to push the envelope emotionally with that album, and even 2014 Forest Hills Drive. I mean, how are you not doing that anymore? To me,
Yeah.
this album doesn't have that. It has a little bit of it, and Pride is the Devil is probably my standout track, um, because it kind of does that. But man, I also don't like that Cole kind of upped the auto tune he uses substantially.
Yeah.
He upped it like substantially.
Mm.
Let Go My Hand was kind of scratching that emotional lyricism itch.
Yeah.
And the Climb Back has some clever lyrics, but I just didn't connect with it, man.
Me either.
Hunger on the Hillside doesn't even make fucking sense, man.
Nope.
Like I even like went back and I was like, all right, I'm gonna Google these lyrics. I'm gonna restart this song because this shit don't make sense. It doesn't. The verses have nothing to do with the chorus. It feels like Tom Haverford was in the booth with him. But is it a banger? You know,
Yep.
it's that to me that's what it felt like. I also gave it a 5 out of 10. Just kind of not what I wanted or expecting. I was hoping we were gonna have a J. Cole album to bump all summer, but I probably won't listen to it. I probably won't even listen to it again.
Nope. I agree.
Just one of those, you know?
Yep.
All right. Georgia Smith.
Yeah, so she released another EP this year called Be Right Back. It's another solid release from what I would consider one of the best in R&B today. She does not follow trends, and she takes her time making each song and each release feel unique. Her album Lost and Found, her debut album Lost and Found, came out in 2018 and really, like, I think set a high bar for what to expect from her going forward. It's not a lot of bedroom slow jam stuff. Like, this was definitely a good step towards her next chapter. Her last two releases before this rollout started were like dance hall reggae kind of collabs, and then so I wasn't really sure what kind of EP we were going to get. And then she released the two singles off of this, Addicted and Gone. And I was like, oh, I'm 1,000% in for this. Addicted, beautiful R&B song with like drum and bass undertones, which we talked about a month or two ago.
Just amazing.
And drum and bass is not used in R&B very often. She then released the single Gone, which is like probably one of my favorite R&B songs of the year. From any and probably any genre, actually, not just R&B. It's a phenomenal song. The instrumental is great. Her voice is great. The lyrics are great. The rest of the tracks on the EP are very solid, but not quite as memorable or as accessible as the first two singles. They did grow on me with each listen. I gave the album an 8 out of 10, and my favorite track was Gone.
All right. Yeah. So this is a short little 25-minute album. It is fucking packed with soul. Like this album was a lot of fun. I love her voice. Addicted is my favorite song. She's really comfortable getting vulnerable. And I like that. Home is a perfect example of how lyrics can make a song without the need for a flashy beat. Home was that's a special song too. It's insightful, it's simple, it's easy to listen to. I wanted more when it ended. Solid 7 out of 10, man.
Fuck yeah.
Solid 7 out of 10.
Yeah, good album.
Really good album. I enjoyed it. All right, Easy Life. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll go first. I'll set up the context as to why I added it, since we haven't really talked about them before. So my wife has been listening to Easy Life for a while now, and over time, I think their music has just kind of grown on me through peripheral absorption. I liked all the singles they released from this album: Skeletons, Daydreams, Ocean View, I think came out this past week. It wasn't what I was expecting it to be at first. I figured I'd throw it on just because they have such an interesting style, and it feels like a weird mashup of like his voice sounds just like Rex Orange County, but it also has like a little bit of like, I don't even know, like SG Lewis, Sir Sly. Like there's a weird electronic but indie element to it that I can't quite pinpoint yet. But it keeps it light and fun, and it keeps it replayable for me. I thought that it was a fun album. My favorite track on it was Skeletons. I haven't been able to sit with this one very long, but I gave it a 7 out of 10 off my initial review of it.
All right. So prior to you throwing this on the playlist, I had never heard of Easy Life. There's something missing here, man. I could not get into it. I didn't like A Message to Myself at all. it just didn't make a lot of sense sonically to me. I did like Skeletons. Daydreams is my standout track. It's my favorite track of the album. If I had to pick one, there's just something missing that I can't quite put my fingers on it. I'm not sure if it's the indie crossed with rap, crossed with like some house music kind of thing happening. It's not for me, man. I really tried, and then that last track where he's just talking is just not my jam. I did not like this album. I kind of like wanted to. I kind of wanted to like it because it has all of the elements. It's kind of like a British Code of the Friend kind of indie kind of vibey album that I should like, but I can't fucking put my finger on it. And I've only listened to it once, but I'm not sure that I'm going to listen to it again. And I love your wife, and I'm sorry that I do this to her quite often, apparently. But yeah, I gave it a 3 out of 10, man. It's just not my jam.
Fair. All right. What do we got next?
Next one, I think, is 21 Pilots.
Okay. I'm interested to hear what you have to say on this one first.
All right. So, I'm glad you said something there. I'm glad you did that. Are we listening to Hall & Oates right now? Good Day has super major Hall & Oates vibes. Interesting direction they've taken with their sound. I kind of dig how it's, I just really dig how it's so different, right? I really dig that. Quote, no volunteers to co-sign on my fears. Choker is just too real, man. It's a great song. As Shy Away starts, I'm kind of sinking into the way they're structuring their sound. It's really radio friendly. It's got melodies that fucking won't quit. It's got lyrical contents that actually goes a little deeper than I was anticipating. The Outside kind of follows this theme to a T without repeating anything, right? Let's see here. I think The Outside is referring to how similar everybody is nowadays. People seem to not be able to form their own opinions about things. I blame comment sections on social media.
True.
Quote, feeling great is, let's see here. Quote, feeling great. I can't feel the waves anymore. Did the tide forget to move? I just pray that I'm not losing you. Living for the Weekend loses its luster after so many years of partying. I think this line kind of reflects what we all eventually feel. I think we've all been, I think you even mentioned it earlier today, where we're all standing in the crowded club or at a festival, and it's like 11 p.m. and you're just tired as fuck, and you're seeing everyone's tide moving them around while you're just kind of stuck. Fuck, man, like that kind of hit me, man. On Never Take It, quote, they're trying hard to weaponize you and I. Like, fuck, dude, we've actually been talking about this shit for years. Divisiveness and polarization of issues just kind of creates unneeded animosity between human beings together. And while you and I don't necessarily agree on a lot of things, that doesn't necessarily mean that we can't be homies. I mean, shit, you were my best man. Or you were a groomsman, man. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, this vibe was really cool, man. Mulberry Street kind of brings back that piano pop rock from Good Day earlier in the album. Formidable is great. I wrote down, man, this is wild. My favorite track is Saturday. I kind of went through each and every single song.
I figured it would be.
I just loved that song, and I gave it a 7 out of 10, man. It's a good album. It's actually, I wrote down 7, but I remember voting it an 8. I really liked it. I'm gonna call it an 8.
All right, let's call it an 8. Saturday was a really fun track, actually. So I figured that one would click with you, and I'm glad it did. I like this album. I wasn't sure about it after the first listen because it kept giving me like the same vibes I got from Panic at the Disco the first time I put on Pretty Odd. And I do think that's a decent comparison for what they did on this album, but not to a negative degree. It doesn't sound like Pretty Odd, but it does sound like they were inspired by the Beatles or Paul McCartney in general, because I could easily hear this as like a Wings album too at times. They don't stay in that lane for the whole album though, and I think
They
that's for the
don't.
better. I usually like when a band picks a concept or theme and sound and kind of sticks with it through the course of an album. But I feel like their left turn tracks here, like The Outside, especially where he kind of does like their trademark, like a little bit electronic, like
Yep.
almost rap flow thing at the end, and then No
No
Chances
chances.
as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so I feel like those fill out the track list nicely and give the album a sense of variety it would have missed without them. I gave it same as you. I wrote I'm giving this album a 7 because that's what my gut says off of the first listen, but this one could easily grow to an 8 within the next day.
I
Time will
I really
tell.
liked it. I really liked it.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
a great album.
it was very good.
They did a really good job.
I was not anticipating it being that good. So
No, no, I wasn't either. The singles out of context were like I didn't know what to make of it. Choker, Shy Away, and Saturday. I was like, they're all good. I just really don't. It sounds a little different for them, but they pulled it off. It all
yep.
works.
Cool, man. All right, Black Keys. What are your thoughts?
Um, I thought it was a good album. I feel like if you like one Black Keys song, then you pretty much like all Black Keys songs. I know that's like incredibly reductive, but I don't mean it as an insult. I just feel like they do one thing and they do it really well. I enjoyed this album and even went back to it a couple times. Crawling King Snake and Stay All Night were standouts to me. I gave it a 7 out of 10, which I know is probably like the cop out score for like an album you just like but don't necessarily like know why. But yeah, I think it's a good album and I think it fits well in their discography.
Well, I think we're gonna disagree again here, man. I feel like they wrote a bunch of great instrumentals and then just arbitrarily put a bunch of fucking words together. So
I'll agree with
when I
that.
listen to full albums, I want to get what the artist is saying, and so when I listen to them, I'll actually pull up all of the albums up in different all of the songs, lyrics up in different tabs, and I'll read the lyrics as I listen to the albums because I want to know what they're saying. The Black Keys said nothing this entire album.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, they just don't make sense. Like I really like the music though. I just don't understand the lyrics. On most of the songs, the instrumentals are just fucking awesome. And I mean, it's classic Black Keys, man. But
Which is, yeah, why I was tempted to go up to 7. It's like, because they're so good at just playing blues rock. But you're right, the lyrics on this are very not memorable, uninspired, tacked on. Not great.
I did like Crawling King Snake. That's really that and I mean the lyrics are nonsensical there too. But I gave it a 5 out of 10. I actually said 4 out of 10, maybe 5 out of 10 due to the instrumentals.
Gotcha.
So
Makes sense.
yeah, I actually really enjoyed their last one, Let's Rock, far more than I enjoyed this one, and I think that's
I
because
did too. I will agree with
I
that.
think that's because John they decided to go with a more poppy feel on Let's Rock, but they had fun with it and still kept it bluesy. But on this one, they just went full blues, and it's like they had nothing to talk about. It's like they're not sad being so rich, you know?
Yeah. True.
All right, St. Vincent, Daddy's Home. You had some words about the singles, and I would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I couldn't get into the album. I had a feeling I wouldn't be after I heard the single Melting in the Sun and we discussed it and I said I wasn't really into it. And it's not her voice or songwriting even that I don't like. It's just the musical direction of the album. Like she went from that electro pop rock sound with Mass Seduction to more of like a 70s glam rock sound with this, which is just really jarring change. And she has every right to make that change. It's her career.
Yeah.
There are a few songs on here and moments I did enjoy. Down, Down and Downtown. I like all the Down songs apparently. Um, I know it's not fair. I just wanted her to make something that at least felt like it belonged in the same discography and as the person and band that made Mass Seduction a few years ago. I gave it a 5 out of
Okay.
10.
All right. I can. Look, I don't personally think that this album because if you do compare it to Mass Seduction, I mean, it's clearly an inferior album comparatively, like musically,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But I personally don't think that that's very fair. I loved this album, man. I knew you weren't gonna like it though. So I've listened to it like,
I wanted to.
I know
I
you
did
did.
want to.
I know you did. The single was different, right? Like the melting
Hmm.
of the sun, it was different. And you're right. I personally, when I get like 50s kind of rock with this. At least that's
Yeah. Yeah.
the
The
visuals that
imagery
kind of, yeah,
she's
the
trying to
imagery.
put forth. Yeah.
That's the word, imagery. So by the time I was writing this, I had listened to it like 10 times. Mass Seduction isn't something that it should be compared to. It feels like jazz, listens like yacht rock,
There you
while
go.
being modern all at the same time. I kind of love how she can create this feeling of nostalgia for a time that I've never even fucking lived through, right? This is one of those lazy Sunday throw on while making coffee kind of albums that it's also still something that's worth giving your full active attention to. Reading her thought process on Somebody Like Me is beautiful. I recommend if you're on your phone, you can
Throw it in the
click
show
on,
notes.
yeah, I'll throw it in the show notes. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
Everything she does is just artfully purposeful. I fucking loved it. I gave it an 8.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Do we?
I knew that it was. So I peeked at your album of the years playlist and I saw that it had crept on there. And so I knew we were going to be a little bit off on this one, but I figured you would anticipate that as well.
Yeah, I had already known. I already knew by the time you and I were done talking about Melting at the Sun. I was like, yeah, he's not going to dig it, but he's going to have to listen to it. So shut up.
Yep. Yep.
All right, Olivia Rodrigo, the pop sensation of the world, my man. I have some
Yes.
words. I'm going to kind of just jump into it if you don't mind.
Go for it.
Look, she's gonna get a bunch of dudes who are way too straight and masculine to even give this a chance to judge her on her music. Very similar to the way Taylor Swift gets judged pretty fucking constantly for just talking about dating. Because human beings aren't allowed to talk about dating. Um, I personally, I liked this album. Brutal's a fun song. Yeah, girl, life's fucking brutal. Trader is a story that's been told 1,000 times. She tells it pretty well. Driver's License is obviously the song I first heard of hers. My wife showed it to me last year. Her performance on SNL really caught my attention.
Yeah.
She really went for it. She has a giant stage presence for how tiny of a girl that she is. She's gonna get some hate for this because it's so good.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Of course.
This album's incredibly relatable. She's got this punky Hobo Johnson kind of vibe that's delivered really well. She's got this
Interesting
like
comparison.
edgy kind of sad beauty to the sound of her voice. Quote, I know you're happy, but don't be happier, is fucking haunting.
Yeah.
It's relatable, it's punky, it's folky, it's edgy, it's really well produced, as is tradition for any Disney stars. I think Driver's License is my favorite song. I know that that's probably a cop out in and of itself. I gave it a 6.
Damn. Okay. All right. So, oh man. Okay. Uh, I'm going to give you my rating first, which is a 9 out of 10.
All
Because,
right.
and I'm going to tell you why I give it a 9 out of 10 against like other albums that I would give 9s and 10s, like Graduation or The Carter 3, whatever they are, you know?
Right.
I'm trying to judge an album for what it is. Like, is this album a perfect album or near perfect album? Like, I don't think in the grand scheme of like what I would typically define it as is no, it's not. But is it a perfect pop debut? And it is. Like, I really can't, like, there's maybe some production elements that I would have beefed up a little bit at parts, but like that's kind of why I graded it on the scale that I did. Not that I should diminish from it at all. It's my first 9 from this, and it definitely means a lot to me. My notes read pretty much the way I kind of like channeled it, I just wrote like I was writing it as I was listening to it. So it was kind of a stream of consciousness thing. I just wrote, "Holy shit, what a debut." That was like my first like only thing I could get out. It's because I don't listen to like a lot of new pop albums, and I thought this was a great listen, and I'm glad I gave it the time of day. Like you said, I could have been too ignorant not to. It's a fun album that doesn't take itself too seriously while also showcasing like her abilities as a songwriter and vocalist over a few different subgenres of pop. She shot to the top of the charts with Driver's License, obviously, and this became the most anticipated pop debut album since Billie Eilish in 2019, probably. That kind of pressure can easily break a lot of these young pop stars, but she fucking rose to the occasion and delivered with what I'm gonna say is an instant pop classic. Um, she found a really good balance between like the slower pop songs with folk influence, similar to like Taylor Swift, who I don't know if you saw, but actually has a writing credit on the song One Step Forward, Three Steps Back on this album.
Oh, I did not see that. Good old T
Yes.
Swizz.
Yeah. So she's definitely like there's a little bit of community, not competition thing going on there too, which is nice to
Oh,
see.
I love that.
And then faster pop songs with a pop rock influence that just flows really well together over the course of the album. This is definitely my album of the month, and as of now, my pop album of the year. And I have a feeling it's going to be very hard to dethrone in that category. If I had to pick one song, I'm going to go with Brutal, just because that way to open a fucking album, man.
Yeah,
That takes
it's
balls,
good.
especially for a Disney pop like star. You know,
Well, she's 18 now. She can say fuck.
yeah, no, she's not Disney, but
No.
you know, like that's the world she comes from.
Yeah, you know what? I'll agree with you. I don't necessarily think that it's a nine, but it is again incredibly relatable, and I'm glad I gave it a shot. I wouldn't have, except
At this
for
point in her career, I don't know what better she could have done. That's only like she's limited to the producers she's working with and shit like that. I have a feeling her trajectory went just like through the roof, man. Like I'm honestly, I know this just came out, but I'm anticipating to see where this is in 5 years from now.
yeah, I dig that. It's I think it's going to age really well. I think she killed it, man. Honestly, I wouldn't have wanted to give it a full listen and a review and like sit there and actively listen to it if it wasn't for her SNL performance. And I'll put a link in the show notes for the SNL performance because fuck, it really blew me away.
She killed it.
I was like lying
Yeah.
down on the couch and it came on and I sat up like
Yeah.
I think I was a little stoned
That's
and
one of those.
I was just like, all right,
Yeah.
hold on, I need to be in this because like she really killed it. So I'm glad that we reviewed it. I'm glad that I listened to it, and yeah, I think it's a good one.
And Olivia, if you're listening, come on the show, be our first guest.
Yeah, please.
Wouldn't that be a get? Shit. God
Imagine.
damn.
Oh man, that's crazy. All right, next one is Mannequin Pussy's Control EP. Look, they put out an album in 2019 called Patience, and it was probably one of my most listened to albums in 2020. In fact, the song Drunk 2 was I think my top listened song on Spotify for 2020. I found them on the Coachella lineup, looked them up, fucking awesome, right? And then they were slotted to open for Idols at the show we had bought tickets to for Pappy and Harriet's in April of 2020. Of course, we bought tickets for this back in January of 2020, and
Sure.
life decided to not let anything like that happen. So
Yeah.
I'm bummed that we don't get to see them. We do have tickets to see Idols at Pappy's, but it's not Mannequin Pussy opening for them. So she is such a rawness to her voice that's just so interesting to me. The way she can kind of straddle, the way they can kind of straddle indie and punk so well, it's just really neat, man. Control is a perfect example of indie punk, right? Perfect is fucking thrash punk from a female perspective, which is not really explored too often in music as a whole, especially comparatively to other bands in punk. This band is proof that punk can be vulnerable, it can be feminine, and it can still fucking rock. Perfect exemplifies this. My favorite track on this EP is Control. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, this quick correction, I think you called it the Control EP. It's the Perfect EP.
It's the Perfect EP. Sorry.
So this was the first time I'd ever heard them. I'm reviewing the EP as a whole, but you put the song Perfect on as one of, I think, the first single you put on this month, actually. Yep. And it blew me away. This shit is fucking great. I've never heard of them before. I wasn't familiar with them at all before you added that song to it, the playlist earlier this month. I had noticed the EP drop, so I added it, and I literally like every song. They even have like a male vocalist, I think, on Pigs is Pigs.
Yep.
They're a very interesting group. They're fucking like, so my favorite, I'm gonna give this EP a 9 out of 10. It was great. My favorite track on it was Perfect. I don't do a lot of lyric reads, but look in my eyes, tell me I'm it, tell me I'm beauty, tell me I'm fit, laugh at my face, spit on my tits, tell me I'm perfect, tell me I'm it. Like, that shit is fucking hard, dude.
I know, man.
This girl is on another level with the rawness in her writing. And like, that whole fucking song is not many lyrics. Like, they're all very simple one-liners, and every one is just a punch to the face, pretty much. Like, yeah, this was great. They made me a fan, and I'm excited to hear more.
Oh, I'm happy about that. Yeah, because I'm a fan of theirs, and please go listen to Patience. I'm glad that,
like you said, just not a lot of people explore the thrash punk from this perspective.
And you know what, man, this fucking works. In fact, more women should, man. Like, this music is empowering, man. I fucking love it.
This was fire.
Speaking of this, I think we forgot a single.
Flight Facilities
and Garbage.
Okay, well, we'll touch on those in the odds and ends, because we have one more EP, right?
Yep, absolutely. So, Gone. Tell me about Gone.
So, Gone, this was a random ad, but it's kind of awesome. I saw Complex posted an article a few days ago about like a new French producer releasing an EP. They usually post like SoundCloud links.
Yeah.
And so when I heard it, it wasn't on Spotify yet. And it kind of like, I heard Saved, that was the song. And I was like, one, not was what I was expecting to hear on complex.com,
right?
Primarily a hip hop site. And so like, I was like, dude, this is really good. It kind of reminded me of like Drove, that Places song that I added like in January. It was like new and refreshing, but kind of very subtle and subdued in a interesting way. And so like I realized that the EP had come out. I like went back through the fucking article to find like the exact name. I realized I kept typing the wrong name on Spotify. Like, there's a few artists named Gone, and so that's why I wasn't seeing this EP.
Yeah.
And so I saw it, I threw it on, and then like after I threw it on is when I listened to it front to back, and I was like, oh, this is so much more than just one good song. Like, this is actually a really well produced EP. I was pretty blown away by it. It kind of had like Lane 8 meets Atlas, kind of dark, like a darker version of that to me.
You heard Lane 8 in this as well.
Yeah. I mean, I figured your ears and my ears kind of break stuff apart in a similar way. Mm-hmm. Favorite track, Saved, rating 8 out of 10.
All right, so I threw Saved on, and my first impressions were Bob Moses crossed with Lane 8.
There you go.
It's beautiful. The bass line on Saved towards the end gives me like subdued kind of Boys Noise bass line vibes. Mm-hmm. Premier Contact's opening is it's Macioplex, man. Those strings that come in about midway through to kind of build up is just, oh man, it gave me fucking goosebumps. There's so many different styles at play here. It's almost not even very dancey at some points, but it's like more so like dance-ish compositions. I mean, Moderat, Macioplex, Lane 8, Bob Moses, Stefan Bodzine, Roadhad, Boys Noise. Those are all from 4 fucking songs, man. I got all of
Yeah.
those. I was blown away when I first
Same.
heard this, man. I give it an 8 out of 10 for sure.
I'm glad you were as impressed as I
Yeah,
was. I was like, it's an
definitely.
EP. You never know if somebody's gonna hear what you hear,
No,
like
man,
be
I
like,
heard it.
holy shit.
I heard
Like,
it,
yeah,
man. It dropped my jaw a little bit. Like
that's awesome.
I was excited about that.
We had talked about reviewing Solomon, but let's just skip it for now.
All
I
right.
don't think there's much to talk about
I mean,
at this
I
point.
liked it, but I also didn't, and I'm not sure what that
Yeah.
means. But you know what? Anybody who's
Um,
listening and wants us to talk about Solomon's album, why don't you put your your opinions in the comment section and let us know what you think,
yes.
because I'm curious about that.
Out of Focus was a decent track. That's about all I remember from it.
Yeah,
And
I liked the Jamie Foxx one with Ocean. It's called Ocean, I think the best, but
I liked that minus the fucking like train horn is the main instrument in the damn song.
fair,
But all right. So those were our album reviews in the month.
We actually missed quite a few singles, and I'm sure that's probably my fault for not catching them.
We're learning as we're going. But I honestly, it's funny because even doing this, like your words change some of my ratings, I feel like too. Like it's an interesting way, like somebody explaining something to you can make you appreciate something more. So I think
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see how these like albums grow with me over the next month.
Honestly, I'm reading everything I wrote about Olivia Rodrigo, and then looking at my rating of 6 out of 10. I feel it's unfair to her, and I'm probably going to change that, and I'll put it in the show notes if I end up doing that.
Okay, so let's move on to some odds and ends since we realized we missed at least 2 singles. If you realize any more while we're doing it,
I think 3.
speak up. We'll do it. I'll take the lead on this part.
Do it.
So Flight Facilities Lights Up featuring Channel Tress. Last month, we both talked about a Flight Facilities remix they released from a girl named Blue to Tiger on a song called Vintage, and it was like super disco, really fun to listen to, very very dancey. And you and I both kind of talked about how Flight Facilities just takes these really long breaks, and we really can't stand it as being fans of theirs, like
Right.
always being deprived of what they're capable of. And almost immediately after that conversation, they released this song, and Channel Tress says something in the first line about like, you should have called me if you were looking to complete the album, which is why we're both like kind of holding our breath that this is like the first song off an album. To speak to Channel Tress for a second again, he's just makes every song he's on fire. So
Right.
this 2 of my like, I guess 3 if you count both guys in Flight Facilities, favorite just artists, all working on the same song. It's groovy, it's bouncy, it's bass heavy. It's great, man. I hope that this is an album because I feel like the dance scene is much better off with them in it.
So, what's funny is I remember our conversation very vividly last month, and we were talking about that remix and how it's been so long since we've had an original Flight Facilities song. And then I'm pretty sure it was literally the next fucking day. My notes start off with, "Are we wizards?" Cause like, what? How does that even work? I hope it's an album with. I don't think they would have let Channel Trace say something like that if he was just fucking with us. And if he is, and Channel, if you're listening, that's fucked up, bro.
Well, I love how every song he's on, like he just talks over the beginning of them, like it's his new thing.
Right.
Like on the Duke Dumont when he's just asking him fucking questions, like
How'd you get
you
that
can tell
name,
it's an
Duke?
ad lib take, yeah. Like, and he's just like deciding to fucking talk to Duke as the ad lib, like it's he doesn't give a fuck, and it makes it all feel so much more organic.
Right,
But
right.
that's the problem with putting him on a song right now, is at least to you and I, he's overshadowing everything else that's going on the song.
Right. Oh man. Well, I really really liked the single. I hope it ends up with an album. At the very least, I hope that we get an EP or some more original Flight Facilities music with
Same.
or without Channel Trace. Although
Whole album. Give us a whole collab album.
Imagine, bro, that'd be cool. Y'all, if
I
you're
would die.
listening, let's hit
That'd
it.
be like the Bruno Mars, Anderson Paak of EDM right there.
Right? All right. So the other single I think that we missed, there's two more, I believe. I think it is Sleater Kinney, Worry With You.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I think they are doing a new album. One of the members left after the last album came out. It seems like they went straight back into writing. Yeah, they're rock, man. They just make fucking good music. It's hard to ever like hear a bad song. They don't really like blow me away ever, but they're just talented at what they do,
Well,
and I'll definitely give the album a listen.
well, you're gonna be mad at me because I had never heard them prior to this song being thrown on the playlist. I have, however, looked at their name every day for months, and here's why. We have the Coachella posters up in our hallway, and they're on the lineup for I believe it's 2006, and they're pretty
Yes.
high up on the lineup, and they're like almost at eye level. So I look at Sleater Kinney every day. But I had never heard them, and yeah, man, this is a good track.
You do know who's in Sleater Kinney, right?
No, I don't. I know nothing about
So
them.
that's Carrie Brownstein from Portlandia's
No
band.
fucking way.
Yeah, and they've been
Oh,
around since like
what?
the early 2000s.
Oh, that's amazing. I had no idea.
Go back and listen to it after this conversation, and her voice right away, you're gonna be like, "Oh fuck, yeah,
Oh
that's Carrie."
man. All
Yeah,
right. That's
uh,
fucking crazy.
yeah, that'll give you
Blowing
some
my mind.
perspective. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I didn't know you didn't know that,
I
or
know I
else.
had no idea. Um,
God damn it. What was the song off their last album that I really liked? They're awesome, but I mean, they have a lot to go through if you haven't listened to them a ton, but their album from 2019, The Center Will Hold, I would listen to like Hurry On Home and Can I Go On. Those are both really good songs.
I'm probably just gonna deep dive them, and I'm a big fan of the
Yeah.
indie stuff,
Well,
and
even if you click their Spotify and look at the picture up top, you'll pretty
yeah, I
quickly
just did
realize
it.
that's
I just did it. I'm looking at it, feel like an idiot.
Yeah.
That's great though. Honestly, so I have there's a line in this song. If I'm gonna mess up, I'm gonna mess up with you. That's such an endearing line, man. I
Yeah,
liked that. I liked the song. It was really good, man.
it was awesome.
And then the last song that we're going to review is Garbage.
Yes, so Wolves, they have an album coming out. We should have touched on it in that section, but I think it's coming out next month, so we will be reviewing it further. This song is my favorite of the singles so far.
Same.
I liked the Men Who Rule the World one a lot. They released another one, I think, called No Gods, No Masters as well. That one, and I think that's the name of the album, if I'm not mistaken. This is fucking great. Like,
So good.
not just naming the song Wolves, but using that as a lyrical device. The chorus, which one of my two wolves will I give my attention to tonight? Which one will I decide to feed? Which one will I decide to fight? Like,
Yep.
I think it's such a very common theme that we all like can relate to. And she has such a way of delivering those lines with an earnest, like, ability to just make you realize like she's lived through the shit that she's singing about.
I think that's what makes them so approachable as a band and so good is really her delivery on a lot of things. And yeah, I'm super stoked. This is going to be a great album. It's Wolves is my favorite of the singles. So,
For sure.
all right. Well, I think that is it for the month of May.
Woo!
This was good. Let us listeners let us know what your thoughts are in the comments if you'd like to, or don't. I'm not going to tell you guys what to do. Keep in mind we're going to put everything in the show notes that we discussed, and I will definitely we're going to be deleting the Brandon's Face playlist as of right now. We're going to delete it, and we're going to be moving it over to an archive for May of 2021, and then we're just going to start adding shit on there for June 2021, which you guys
Yup.
should get by the beginning of July. John, you got anything you want to add?
Yeah. If you disagree with any of our opinions, music is subjective. Form your own.
Right, exactly. Let us know. It's funny. John and I have been we've been music nerds together for 10 years, a decade now, and And we don't always agree, as you guys can see. And sometimes our opinions are exactly the same, like the 5 out of 10 on J. Cole's album. But other times they're completely different, you know. And music is fun. Art is subjective. That's a good thing.
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, everybody have a great day, and we'll see you next month.
Peace.
Peace.